Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Saturday Smackdown for the week, the 28th of February 2015. This is game number 1 in the best of 7 series between GiveUAnxiety and I Am SoldieR, of which are brother and sister. No.
Brother and brother.
The brother and brother.
Brother and... that would be cool.
It rolls off the tongue a bit better. Yeah, brother and... Whoops. Well, here we have in the north of the map, in the color blue, playing as India. GiveUAnxiety, starting with a nice 40 wood treasure in his base for India. Pretty good. And a 35 coin as well. No doubt that would be quite useful for the market upgrades if he wants to. Well, I guess he could. He could. We'll see what he does.
Certainly. Could also, like, I don't know, do something like a trading post or something crazy, too.
He could, especially with this 90 wood treasure that he has just come across. Though that is pretty tough for India to pick up since the light. You can't really kite them at all. But if he brings both those elephants over, which he has done, he will indeed be able to get that up. Really looking quite nice for India. Plenty of wood. Absolutely.
Yeah, so good. And that treasure's so easy to take for India as well. You just group up those tigers and use the splash damage.
That is true. They're both stunned, yeah.
You will take basically no damage from that treasure and clear those tigers with ease, and that's going to be a huge boon to his early game.
I must admit, I thought it would be a bit tougher actually. But wow,
super easy, yeah,
super easy. You can see like literally no damage. Holy wow, okay, very nice. Germany though, in the south of the map, in the color red, I Am SoldieR. This is a tournament match between these two for the group stages, I believe. They're both in the same group.
Yep, I think that's correct.
So we're casting tournament games right here, at least.
I guess technically we are, yeah, sure.
This particular one is actually. I need to get a video up about that tournament hype. Absolutely. So everyone will know what's going on with that on my YouTube channel in a couple of days, or perhaps tomorrow, something like that. But this matchup, we do indeed have the German versus the India. ZutaZuta, as always. Over to you.
Yeah, so I've noticed a couple early things here. One thing that I do want to mention is SoldieR did get a market with his early starting resources. Does have a hunting dogs upgrade finished at 1 minute and 26 seconds. So on a map like this where you're, pretty much filled up with hunt until the 15 or 16 minute mark, getting that early hunting upgrade, going to be super, super useful. So everything looking really good for that. The one thing I am a bit surprised with is, with all of India's luck in gathering early wood treasures, he didn't really use that to his advantage. He got the 90 wood treasure, there's the 40 wood treasure in his base. I would have liked to see him pick up both of those and do something a little different. Maybe something like with a market, or could have even maybe grabbed a trading post or something like that. If we recall some of the games we've seen Boneng play India, he's opted, for like some trading post starts, even with like 100 gold starts. So certainly something that's not out of the realm of possibility. Would have been nice to maybe see him do that. But either way, with this start, going to be up super early, not going to have any issues in that regard. And I think this matchup's actually not that imbalanced on this map, honestly. I think Germany's got good options going towards the Fortress Age, and India, has a plethora of options they can do as well. They can play boomy and kind of reactive with Fortress play of their own, or of course they can be really obnoxious with that aggressive aggro play. So we'll have to see what ends up taking place, and it looks like it's just going to be some sort of defensive aggro to start off with.
Yeah, absolutely right. Defensive aggro, not going to be placing that anywhere near his opponent there, and I think if he were to, that can cause Germany some issues. They like to go up to Fortress, and if you're taking colonial pressure, perhaps you're not going to be too fond of that, but going to be quite easily able to go up to Fortress, where they are very, very strong. Of course, that 3-settler wagon ship, but get that economy going, get up to Fortress. One of the stronger Fortress Age civs, though it does lack the 2 falconets. It does indeed. But have you seen the chat? Thief, noob, taunt 2, brotherly. This is like
It's the epitome of brotherly love.
That's the truth. There we go. Both players now on their way up, though. India with a slight age advantage. Perhaps saving that wood to train, so he has to gather less wood, make his settlers out of it. Choosing not to go for the trading post, but it could have added that in. Certainly adding in his market now.
Yeah, and I don't mind this, really. If you're not going to get the trading post early, then I don't know. India's got lots of other options for ways that they can play economically that don't involve trading posts. Obviously, they can get market upgrades. Just because they're an Asian civ, the market upgrades are going to be super cheap, super easy to get. definitely going to be something that he's going to be able to roll into an advantage in the mid game. And like, I mean, you can always do things like consulate with that wood as well, right? And get some, you know, sort of Ottoman consulate rolling. Just lots of other options. You don't have to build trading posts. I think, to be fair, I think sometimes people dwell on the fact that trading posts are 200 wood a little bit too much and forget that, you know, there are other options available. So
certainly true. We'll see what he makes of it. He is now up to the colonial age. Absolutely. We'll have to wait for his first shipment as well. And that will really tell us what he has in mind. But pretty normal things so far, being the trickle for India and the 2 villages shipment. Germany has indeed popped down that trading post, and he is now up to the next age. 400 wood on the floor. I think this is some sort of semi-FF.
It looks like we're going to see a stable, yep. So stable coming down, also getting a very early steel traps, definitely like that. I mean, it's just gonna. It's looking like completely standard play. Yeah.
It's gonna be good. Steel traps, lots of efficiency.
Yep. And at the same time, like India has actually got really, really good upgrades as well. We can see he's already got professional hunters. He's got flume and ditching done at 5.5 minutes. That's pretty good. So I mean, both players are really rolling in the upgrades, and it's looking like it's just going to be more of that fortress-oriented gameplay that we were talking about. The real key will be how India wants to follow this up. If India decides that he wants to age himself, you know, then he'll have to kind of sit back a little bit more, defend behind his aggro, and deal with the Germany timing push when it comes between the 10 and 12 minute mark. Or else he can, you know, make the decision that I'm going to train units, I'm going to get a good economy, and then I'm going to timing push and try and kill Germany, or at least hinder him before he's really able to do anything. So it's going to be kind of ball in his court. Certainly, you know, when these Ulan raids start to ramp up, it's going to be a little bit more tricky to deal with. But on a map like this, where, you know, you have lots of hunts and fairly close gold mines, I don't think the Ulan raids should be something that are too much to deal with.
That is true, but here they come, the 2 Yolan coming in. There is a villager out there that might get picked off. 3 Set Boy coming in, gonna sort of force them away. Does he manage to get the villager? Oh! Yes, he does. Okay, but does lose the cavalry. Probably worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, one thing I just noticed there as well that's kind of annoying is the Aggro Fort, when it like does its splash damage, it hits the caribou.
Oh, and it does.
And like it doesn't die, but like look, the one at 18 HP, it actually like back-hurted it.
Oh, yeah, it did. I thought it killed one as well.
No, I don't think it killed the one that was already dead, but it definitely like pushed it away. Yeah. So it's kind of annoying.
Here comes 4 more Yolan though coming in. He notices this time with the houses, not going to lose any more villages there. Certainly, Sepoy going to send them away. You got your Germany doing the timing push, and this is, you know, this sort of early stage where they have a couple of Yolans out. They send 2 villagers. Obviously, that's a great shipment in the Discovery Age. Oh, those Yolans going to get caught off guard by the. Going to lose a few there. That's not too good. Though he does have a batch of 5.
Lots.
Yeah.
I know. So lost 2 over on the left and 1.
You don't want that to happen. Getting caught with the ×3 multiplier, that's going to really be not too good there. But, you know, lots of Yolan raiding. This is good. You start with the 2 villages. 3 villages is your first shipment in Colonial. Very strong. Possibly Germany's strongest shipment. It's 6 villages. Like, jeez. And then follow that up with the 700 coin. Get your age up in queue. And that economy, by the time you hit up to Fortress, is really good. And whilst you're sort of collecting the resources, you make 5 cav and do some raiding. And that's the timing push. And it comes in a bit later on. India, can he hold it though? We'll have to wait and see.
To be honest, I think that went fairly well for India. He did lose the 1 villager to the raid, but then he killed like 3 or 4 Ulans without really taking any damage or, you know, losing anything to speak of. And, you know, those Ulans are like an important part of Germany's timing in the Third Age. If you take a look at the Ulan mass over here on the left side of the map, it's really not that impressive. I mean, that number could easily be 8 to 10. Instead, it's like kind of a measly 6.
Yep.
And if any more of them get caught, certainly that number could drop even more. And that just makes it even, you know, less scary, especially now that India's aging.
Yeah, India's aging as well, has consulate down market. No trading posts, perhaps not quite as many shipments in the next age, but indeed aging. Plenty of villages on that, going up pretty quickly, though Germany is 50% aged, adding in a pretty funky wall over here. I wonder what this is for, but indeed, almost up, and it has
yeah. It's This is going to be interesting, I think, because I think India is actually in a pretty fabulous spot here. He's not that far behind in age up in terms of just raw age up time. He's going to have probably the better economy if we take a look at the market upgrades. I mean, SoldieR does have steel traps, but if we take a look at India's upgrades, he's literally got every single market upgrade that he can get there. We see SoldieR getting the second coin gathering upgrade, but certainly a very, very strong economy for India. The 4 settlers from the Ottoman consulate, of course, and I mean, this is scary. This is a very strong India. India has lost 1 villager total. He's sitting on full market upgrades, and he's pretty much been allowed to boom to his maximum potential. And Germany certainly has a strong economy as well behind this. As you mentioned, he did send 3 settler wagons, but if India can navigate his way through some of the timing pressure that Germany can present itself and doesn't lose, a fight too hard, he's still got lots of resources in his base. And with a really strong economy, this could be kind of scary for SoldieR moving forward.
It certainly could. But Anxiety, yes, as you mentioned, better upgrades, more villages, down to that 4 settler wagon, 4 Ottoman consulate. Is now burning that agreement, so we can start up a new one. It's going to look pretty good. But let's not forget that I Am SoldieR is sitting on quite a few resources, some of which are in queue at the market. I did, wherever it is. He had more than GiveUAnxiety certainly did, the red player Germany. I think they're obviously being used to train units right now. So that might maybe down, India was spending quite a lot of villager seconds with his villagers building that wonder, perhaps not collecting quite as many. There is certainly that, but you can't argue with the settler count at this point. We'll have to see what Germany can do. That is true.
Yeah, what do you think about this? We got ourselves a second town center coming up. I was curious as to how he was going to use the Tower of Victory. Traditionally, I would say we see the more standard age up for India into the Third Age being the Charminar Gate, in which you get the free Mahout Lancer, and then you kind of use that to hold the skirmisher pressure that's bound to come. I mean, most European civs especially are going to send 8 skirm, 7 skirm, and have a fairly overwhelming number of skirmishers that you're going to want to deal with, and by having that extra Mahout, that's really a good way to kind of claw back those numbers to even. Yeah. But he aged with the Tower of Victory, and I was a bit curious about that, and you used that wood just to immediately slam down a second town center. So
it's next to a gold mine, but there's not a huge amount of food there.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, India doesn't really need that much food.
Very true, actually.
I mean, he is kind of running out of food, but the thing I'm more concerned about is it going to slow him down so much to the effect that if Germany just sends military shipment after military shipment, like he has been so far, 8 skirm, 7 skirm, is he going to fall behind enough that Germany's mass is just going to get ridiculously overwhelming and just kind of kill him? So
yeah. So it's down to this sort of, India has lots of units. Germany has lots of units. His economy's not quite as good. You can clearly see it in the settler count. 37 now to SoldieR, 42, a little bit higher ahead. Of course, he does have that second town center town, and the settler's going to continue to grow. But can Germany break India? Can he break him before this economy comes to fruition? Time is limited. The longer this game goes on, the more it shifts to GiveUAnxiety with his second town center. He does have the Tower of Victory, which can be useful in a fight, increasing the attack and hit points and speed of the units. But,
well, SoldieR has actually just dropped his own town center. I'm not so sure about this. I almost would have preferred to just see him stand over here on this hunt, because like you did mention, this town center is guarding this coin mine over here on the right-hand side of the base, but it's not particularly guarding any additional food. And if he can force an early mill transition and just kind of stand on this hunt and coin mine over here and deny any units from ever coming, any more units from ever, the mass building up, just because of the fact that he's able to protect that hunt, might have been better off, but opting for a more economical approach of his own.
He is, actually. We do have a slight engagement here, just a bit of a skirmish with skirmishers. What an appropriate name for those units. Not really much of an engagement, just shooting at range, sort of trying to see how big each other's army. Of course, these do have quite a long line of sight. Because he's gone for the town center, perhaps he doesn't have as bigger intentions of really pushing this in. Certainly that hunt has been herded a little bit closer to his base. He does have a larger skirmisher mass. This is true.
And we do have to take into consideration that European skirms do have one additional range over veteran Gurkhas. So, you know, as the units continue to kind of like kite back and forth like this, there are going to be some extra damaging shots being fired by the red skirmishers.
Good lord, when did they get here? Okay. 9 Black Riders. We do. We see 9 Black Riders from SoldieR. They have arrived. Certainly lots of anti-cavalry there. Certainly as a shipment. Where did he get the gold from? I didn't even notice, let alone like hold his wood for the town center on top of that as well.
Yeah. And another town center here.
3 town centers. This is... SoldieR. Is this perhaps was this something that happened back in the day? Obviously SoldieR is, you know, quite an older player. Certainly a pro from back in the day. Is he playing something that may have been appropriate on Fan Patch? What do you think of this, Zuta?
I think he's just a bit scared, and I mean he doesn't want to push into India's base. India has done a good job of kind of like walling himself up, but I'm not sure that you necessarily want to challenge India to just like an all-out eco brawl with a 1v1 German deck. I mean, this is going to be the point where decks selection is going to be fairly relevant. I mean, if you take a look at the cards that GiveUAnxiety has been sending upgrades like British East India Company and 1,000 wood versus, you know, SoldieR sending 8 skirm, 7 skirm. Naturally, the 8 skirm, 7 skirm better. Oh, a little bit of a raid going on here.
Yeah, got a bit of a raid trying to take these villages out. They are safe though, and also the skirmishers coming in. I think only the 1 villager going down, but continue the shipments he has sent.
As I was saying, like the shipments he sent are geared towards providing timing pressure. 8 skirm, 7 skirm, 9 Black Rider. Now we see finally cavalry combat coming in, but you know, unit shipments like that are definitely based around making timing pushes between the 10, 11, 12 minute mark, and we can see now, you know, it's 15 going on 16 minutes, and really that timing hasn't happened. And the longer this goes, the scarier this is probably going to get. I mean, we can see GiveUAnxiety has actually set up like a rice paddy transition. He's building another town center. He's at, you know, going on 60 villagers. He doesn't really have to come out of his base anytime soon. And should Germany fail to like make something happen here soon, I mean, unless we get to like a super late game all-out brawl, like things are looking good for India. Like India's next power spike is going to be, you know, around like 80 vills, like transitioning into the 4th age, and they're going to have like, you know, unkillable Urumi and stuff like that, and that's certainly not something that I don't think Germany would really be keen to face.
And until now, he hasn't really been given a reason to come out of his base. Right now, we do see SoldieR coming in with the cavalry, the villagers moving, but they don't have to move for. Blue certainly going to come back in, force him back out, and by the looks of it, actually, maybe SoldieR being scared of the blue army is no reason at all to come out of his base. Hasn't been given one. SoldieR has been, you know, hasn't able to offer him a reason to leave. Has built these rice paddies, as you mentioned, got all 3 of his town centers up, looking pretty good. I thought perhaps, you know, these rice paddy fields costing quite a lot of wood, 400 wood each, that perhaps will damage his mass, and maybe it has. I don't know. We'll have to see it. Well, perhaps he does have quite a large army there.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing SoldieR does have here is he does have map control in the sense that he's going to be able to continue to mine gold, but... Ooh,
here he goes. Don't really quite like those the cavalry near the sepoy though, but having near the redcoats and the they are sepoy. But now they've managed to get into combat with the skirmishers here. Going to do quite a lot of damage though. You have to remember German Ulan have quite not very many hit points at all, and they will go down pretty quickly, especially now that all of these units are doing their ×3 multipliers. Those cavalry absolutely annihilated, and now Germany cannot continue pushing there because well, he doesn't have any cavalry, no DPS. Wow,
and
blue
just the inspiration timing there just absolutely wrecked those Ulans as well. The one thing I did want to mention, the coin mines are now out for GiveUAnxiety, so I mean his coin gather rate we can see has kind of halted. He's basically at 0 coin, which is going to be a factor. We can see SoldieR still freely mining coin from all these coin mines over here. To the south of the base, which is definitely going to be good for him, you know, as the game continues to progress, but more engagement.
More engagement. How long do you get on the inspiration? How long does that take to recharge?
It's long. I think it's
Yeah,
like
it is
10
quite
minutes
long.
or something.
Jesus,
like
yeah.
it's like a one and done. Like you're probably gonna only really get a chance to use it once, maybe twice if you're lucky in a game.
That's true, but now coming back in, but it doesn't look like he's got quite as many Yolans as he wants. There are certainly quite a lot of anti-cavalry there. They're not even veteran, well, they are veteran Yolans. They do actually have the upgrade as well. I thought there was a visual change on veteran Yolans, apparently not. But Blue, absolutely staggeringly large army. He's had more villagers the entire game, and it has truly shown in the mass right now. Having said that, SoldieR is sitting on a 1,400 coin. He just spent some.
Yeah, this mass though here is absolutely terrifying from India. Like this is what I'm afraid of. Like as I mentioned, like when you get right around 80 villagers, India, ooh, 3 Falcons.
3 Falcons popping out. That's what all the coin stockpile was for. Gonna do a ton of damage there. That they have gone down. They popped out in range of all the units there. And if you do have such a large mass of ranged units already in range of the Falcon, that you don't have to spend time being shot at, you can just focus them down. They haven't done a huge amount of damage though. Having said that, since they are focusing down this cannon, all of the skirmishers in the back gonna get plenty of shots off. Though most of his army is sort of not there. There's a lot of cavalry on its way. The Explorer is in that group. They could get it faster. Though having said that, I guess
this is going pretty good actually for SoldieR, I'd say. One thing that I've just realized that's fairly important to note is that the Sepoy haven't been upgraded for GiveUAnxiety. So although he is fighting in the Third Age, with unupgraded Sepoy, he is fighting against veteran skirmishers, veteran Uhlans, and Black Riders. Certainly not, you know, the strongest unit upgrade-wise, but just look at the number of units pouring forward from him.
That's it. It's good. I think though we are about to see a few cannons pop out. He did just spend about 1,000 coin on them. Where are they at? He certainly needs them right now. They'd be really quite useful.
Oh, and the Zams too. None of the units are upgraded except for the Gurkhas for India, which is absolutely devastating here.
India doing a lot of, Germany really pushing through there, tearing through. I guess the Black Riders weren't really doing anything in the other engagements, and you forget how strong they are.
Yeah, and more importantly, it goes back to just the upgrade discrepancy. SoldieR has much better upgrades when it comes right down to it.
That's true.
The Gurkhas are the only units that have been upgraded through this whole time. And I mean, just missing out on the 300 resource upgrade from the Zams and the Sepoy when he has that much.
Whoa, that is a ton of cannons. Good God.
Where did they come from?
He spent like 1,000 coin, as I mentioned. Like, good, but okay. Oh wait. Oh wow. Okay, what does India do here?
Resigns, I guess.
Can you get culverins from the consulate? No.
Well, the Portuguese consulate actually can.
This is where he burned. No, you don't get ports with there. Well, can you? Yeah, you can.
You do is the funny thing, but you would only, I think, get one because it's one of those things where you get like it's the one that costs like 800 export, and it gives you like a single culverin and like 9 bestiaros or something. Like it's like not very good. It's like kind of weird.
Not hugely useful, yeah. But is that 1,000 coin has just arrived for SoldieR. Gonna be pouring even more cannons out with that coin, I would imagine. That's absolutely, and he can protect them. There's not really like.
Yeah, there's no. Oh well, there's
the siege elephants. Those things absolutely obliterate cannons. Absolutely staggering amount of range. Though they're pretty good at killing 2 cannons. There's more than that here. We'll see what they can do coming in now, and that takes one of them out. Can the 4 cannons focus down the elephants though? Oh, another cannon. If they'd have focused down the single one, that would have been okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's at least gonna buy him a little bit more time, although like the Ulan count is starting to grow. This is getting really scary. Like the Ulans can probably just sprint in here and clean everything else up.
Yeah, I think that's true. There's no anti-cavalry here. I bet his best bets to get into the trees next to the skirmishers, make it really difficult for the cavalry to get into combat with those skirmisher units. Those elephants are now being attacked by the cavalry. They're going to go down pretty soon. They're not really that good against anything other than, well, cannons.
Yeah,
artillery.
They're quite poor against most. I mean, they're good at sieging too, right? But
yeah.
That's about it.
But right now is wow. Germany.
Yeah,
a lack of upgrades from India. Building all of these rice paddies, certainly that was expensive and would have slowed his mass down. SoldieR winning the game there. Anxiety calls it. That is the end of the first game. And I think That's their only game for the group stages. GiveUAnxiety not out yet, though. I believe he's got other games against other people in his group. He only needs to come within the top 2, I think.
I think that's correct. But yeah, like you mentioned, the lack of upgrades there definitely hurt him. If you point to one thing, I mean, I don't usually look at the post game because I mean we usually cover most of it. Usually there is like a big tipping point, but I just want to show how brutal this was because that fight. I'm sure military unit population. Yeah, this fight. If we take a look at all this time, SoldieR's so far ahead, and I kind of iterated over it. You know, he's been sending things like 8 Ulans and 8 skirms and 7 skirms, and he's pushing this military advantage. But we can see in the military pop graph, there's really no distinction between, you know, like blue losing his army or coming out behind, which is good for him as long as SoldieR's, you know, continuing to stockpile units and not really getting anything for it. It's fine and dandy for India. He can continue just to tech up and sit in his base. But when we get into this big moment where it actually matters at 19 minutes, where they're out in the open and fighting, just look at how absolutely brutal the fight goes in favor of Red. Even despite the fact that he, you know, has some unfavorable trades there to start off with, he just absolutely smashes the fight. And I think we can point to unit upgrades at that point.
Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 in this best of 7 series between GiveUAnxiety and I Am SoldieR. The brotherly fighting on the map Ozarks. Not actually Ozarks, though. A map designed by Gaia. Indeed. But this is the second game in this best of 7 series in this Saturday Smackdown event. Haven't called it an event for a long time. Here we are in the east of the map, in the colour blue, playing as indeed India. We do have GiveUAnxiety. I believe this is his second time playing India. He did not win the previous game, therefore he is able to do this. Absolutely. And, wait a minute, can you cross this river? You can,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You can see there's some cliffs that kind of like block it. It kind of almost reminds you of like Amazonia or something. Like it looks like it's a fairly expansive region, but really it's fairly restricted because there's only like 3 fairly small kind of choked up openings. So there's not a lot of resources up here. I guess there's, you know, a couple gold mines and a couple hunts, but actually I really like this map. It's really nice. Pleasing to the eyes.
Absolutely, that is true. I think all of Guy's maps are aesthetically really, really nice to look at. Yeah. And I'm very happy to see a player making new maps for this game. Absolutely. And it's, you know, it's a competitive map. It's really good. Hunt distribution's quite nice. Coin mines looking okay, both starting with 2 in your base. Resources generally, though not perfect, are always seem to be good on Guy's maps. But yes, picking up the 2 sheep, I believe, GiveUAnxiety, certainly going to be quite nice. Those are going to generate him some XP, really quite useful for India, perhaps more useful than other civilizations, unless, of course, your name is Azemk and you have found a cow. There is that. Also picking up the 60 food, but in the other side of the map, in the colour red, playing as the Sioux. Here is I Am SoldieR. The Sioux, certainly an interesting civilization with a very distinct play style. What do you think?
I'm going to go back to your treasure comment first. So everyone's got a list of treasures in their mind that when they see it, they just walk right past it. You don't even bother with it, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you have that list of treasures? Like, when you're playing on Great Plains and you see the 60 XP treasure, like, do you take it? Like, I just walk right past it every single time.
Unless you haven't got your first shipment yet. Like, if it's the first thing you come across, then yeah, maybe you do grab that.
But and everyone's got like that list of treasures, and I mean sometimes that list of treasures is the way that it is because it's like impossible to take, right? For me, for whatever reason, and I'm not saying this is the right mindset to have, but for me, for whatever reason, the 2 sheep treasure is just on that list for me.
Yep.
Like when I see it, nope, piecing right on out. I just like walk right past it. Don't even bother with it. And I think it's a bad mindset to have because, like you mentioned with India, like that's just. It's more than just, you know, the 2 sheep. It's an XP trickle for the rest of the game that you're going to be able to have. And I guess that's maybe just stubborn old Zuta in his stubborn old ways. Yeah. But that is normally a treasure. Also, a couple other things that are on that list. Native scout treasures in general are on that list because I'm too lazy or too bad of a player to control them properly. Native
Really?
warriors, yes. Native
Everyone
warriors.
who knows me, when I stream, I see a native scout and I'm like, oh, damn straight, I'm getting the native scout. That's just me, though. But yeah, go
Nope,
ahead.
never get the native scout. Even if it's just like a single pistol arrow and all you have to do is crack shot the pistol arrow. Nope, don't even bother with it. Just walk right on by.
Not even as Germany or British?
Nope, nope.
No.
Can't be bothered. Too much work.
Okay.
More treasures on this list include most forms of natives, like the native Cherokee rifleman. Nope, never gonna take that.
No.
Never gonna pick that guy up. He's on the do not pick up list.
Especially this Iroquois Tomahawk, who's guarded by 2 pirates, of which are probably one of the more difficult guardians to kill. That, though, being picked up by SoldieR, now heading over to the 60 wood.
I just thought it was interesting, though, that some people have differing opinions on that, and
That's true.
I'm not saying there are a lot of things that I do think that I am right on, and I'm fairly difficult to convince about. That's something that I am quite easily convinced that I'm wrong about, and like I'm willing and readily able to admit that like that's just something that is stubbornness and laziness, like in game.
Yeah,
and,
well, if you look at it, right, Iroquois Tomahawk, 170 hit points with a ranged attack of 16 multiplied by 2. That's ranged attack that multiplied
look at this.
by 2.
Look at this. This is an army that SoldieR is building here with his
So many extra units. Like, it's because of the nature friendship ability and the fact that he's found 2 tomahawks, which are essentially like comparable to musketeers. Come to think of it, that's like 100 resources you pick up there if you value a tomahawk as 100 resources.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's really good. Plus, he's clearing out all the rest of the treasures. I also wanted to point out. Did you see SoldieR's Sioux scout's name?
I did
it's
not.
so good.
I'm lame.
So
Souk's me.
No, sue me, right?
Sue me.
Like,
Oh yeah.
sue me,
Sue. Oh, what a clever guy.
yeah.
But both players now up to Colonial. Sioux has been up for a significant number of time. Oh, 3 trading posts for Avon now coming out. This looks this feels a bit different.
Yeah, he's gonna actually try and snipe all 3 of the TPs. He's gonna
Okay.
go. I'm interested to see how this plays. Certainly, most of the time this would be kind of risky, but I think he's played against his brother enough to know that that GiveUAnxiety is likely not going to play very aggressively, and that he's likely going to kind of just sit in his base and play this kind of more defensive economic style. And so as a result of that, I think he's kind of cutting some corners and just trying to find a little bit of an edge in a way that maybe he normally wouldn't have. And so he just, he's cutting corners and playing greedy and shipping 3 trading posts as his first card. So
and it looks like he's going to get away with it, though. The Bow Rider's certainly going to be hindered, going to come out a little bit slower, but still, once this gets going, this XP trickle, lots of shipments coming down, perhaps he upgrades the route, and etc., etc., going to be very strong. Let's see. But I did say, very distinctive play style for the Sioux. You don't often see them being played in Saturday Smackdown. What do you think of them?
Sioux?
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan. They win some matchups really. They're the definition of a broken civ, and Bow Riders are the definition of a broken unit. Yeah. They single-handedly win some matchup combinations, and it's like not even close, and they just flat out lose others, and it's not a lot of fun to play as or against, knowing that your civ is either in a huge disadvantage or advantage based on like whatever the map or the matchup is. But and to be fair, this is one of those matchups where I'd say this is India's map and matchup to lose. So if SoldieR can make this work for himself, certainly going to be good for him. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Generally, I think we'd see India playing a little bit more aggressive here as well.
Yeah, but that's not the case.
Certainly not the case. Yeah.
No, we'll have to see what happens. It's like they run around trying to shoot your villages, and if they manage to get the villages, you slowly perhaps lose, and if they don't, then if you can hold out and not get overwhelmed, then Sioux drop off like the 15-minute mark. Their economy is just BS. Yeah. There's no market upgrades, but certainly in some matchups, as you say, Bow Riders can be very strong. They have a lot of hit points.
This is a matchup where is India. Like, I'm not trying to age. I'm not trying to play overly economically. I'm trying to win the game with the mechanical differences between my civ. I'm standing stepwise in good spots. I'm making sure that I'm herding very, very well. I'm just denying the mechanics of the Sioux bow rider and the Sioux raiding in general.
Yeah.
And by denying that like raiding mechanic, I'm hindering him more than like executing my own build order well. You know what I mean? Like if he just focuses on getting this herd of deer that's, you know, kind of sprawled out here to the right of his base,
Yeah.
if that were just like right up underneath his town center, and you know his silver mine is in the position that it is, you know, just north of his base, he could literally stand like all of his stepwise right on top of all of his villagers right there in his base and just wait for Sioux to die while he just built up an eco. But that's not necessarily the case now, because we can see he's not really herded this hunt very well. This hunt is, you know, still questionable at best. And so Sioux kind of finds himself with some breathing room now that he's gotten the trading posts up. He's kind of denied some of the herding and some of the mechanical aspects that he has to overcome. And as a result of that, should he move in towards the third age here sometime soon, could be a little bit scary for GiveUAnxiety.
Yep. Give you that. Bow riders, though, only ranged cavalry in the game that have a ×2 multiplier versus, or no negative multiplier, I should say, against villagers.
Right.
That is true.
Sure.
Those are pretty
Yeah.
good. But
And they're just so tanky. They have like 250 hit points. They're like ridiculously buff.
So you say that Anxiety going to be going up to Fortress, is that his intention?
No, I don't think that he's necessarily going up to Fortress. I think what ideally he would be doing is just massing Sepoys and Gurkhas and matching Soldier in age and just standing on top of his resources.
Yeah.
Naturally, if Soldier ages up, then he's going to have, you know, 1,200 less resources, and you can invest 1,200 resources into aging. But the key part is to make sure that you just have resources and that you can continue your agenda. Because I don't think there's anyone who's going to disagree with the fact that as the game continues to go on, India gets stronger and stronger just mechanically in this matchup, and Sioux gets weaker and weaker. And certainly Sioux's eco, you know, starts to bottom out, as you mentioned, at some point. They just don't have the market upgrades, the villager shipments, stuff like that to keep up.
Yep.
And at that point, India just kind of wins by default. So that being said, we can see villager counts are fairly even. We can see that Soldier has a fairly scary mass when it comes to military population, almost double that of his brother. So certainly not in a terrible spot at this point, but not as far ahead as maybe he'd like to be as well at the same time.
No. Well, yeah. I'm struggling to come up with anything to
add. One thing I would like to see is I'd like to see these Sepoys split up. Like, these villagers here are really exposed in the backside of the base. There's like just kind of waiting to be raided here by this big raid. And he does have some vision from that house, but at the same time, like, he's going to lose villagers here, and like that's not what he wants to do.
No, those herds were quite far away. He's not going to be too happy about that. But unfortunately, not too many going down, though. There's quite a lot of units there.
Yeah, he needs to use his military, and it looks like he's finally going to do that. He's just going to like move out across the map and force some sort of fight, which I guess is...
At the same time, you do have these bow riders from the other side now coming in. Did I flare it? Yeah, they're going to manage to get some units, and there's nothing really in his base to stop them. That's not too good, but certainly coming forward.
I don't know. Just the mobility of Sioux here. I mean, he's going to try. I mean, Sioux's obviously gathering in an awkward spot, like way out here, right? That's certainly not going to be something easy to overcome. But at the same time, his army isn't really all that impressive. And should the bow riders have time to come back and kind of trap the units out in the middle and, you know, kind of separate it off from the aggro, which they're really going to have the chance to do, I think they're really going to be quite successful, especially now that Sioux is powering up here on the war pit.
Yeah. War pit. What is he dancing for? The war dance, yeah. Gonna make those stronger with regards to their attack and hit points, or is it just hit points, something like that?
It's both, yeah.
Oh god, here comes the fight. Not gonna be too good. For the Sepoy actually have the advantage here, resource for resource, I would say. But that doesn't mean bow riders, especially with the war downs, are going to be very strong. There's a lot of hit points there, and if you're not focusing them down properly, could be really, really tough. But I think musketeers do beat your ranged cavalry style unit on average, resource for resource. Though we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and at the very least, he's buying himself some time back at home. Even if he's not, explicitly winning this fight super hard with his Sepoy, he's at least allowing himself to gather resources. I mean, his economy is going to be stronger the longer this game continues to progress. And as long as that is true, and he's able to kind of like even things out and keep the mass in check for SoldieR, he maybe should have a chance. But that being said, there are a lot of bow riders still left here alive, and
wow, that is cavalry upgrades, and the both the attack and hit points cavalry upgrade plus the war dance really, really effective. You can see like winning a fight that really musketeers should win. Though having said that, this entire time SoldieR, I believe, did have the red player, more units on the board generally in terms of population.
Yeah, and I mean, the one thing that is continuing to scare me is, like, look at this hunt. This hunt position has not improved. This hunt position up here has not improved. None of those have improved. What he needed to be doing while that fight was taking place was improving the position of those hunts so that he could have somewhere to gather. Like, even this hunt here could be underneath the Agra fort. Those things just didn't happen while he had that minute or two that he bought with that timing push. And now, as a result, he's going to be back in this kind of the same boat that he was earlier, where he's just got villagers kind of stuck out on little islands trying to gather food and not really having any safety. And now, unfortunately for him, he doesn't really have the mass to back that up at the same time. And he's going to really have to overextend if he wants to continue gathering resources.
Yep, and he had a couple of units being they were trying to catch up with the rest of his army, but they managed to get caught out by the Sioux, who are really quite fast. That Explorer in there, speeding all of the units up, that's what it does. And of course, bow riders have pretty fast speed already. Really, really, like, a huge amount of mobility, and we can see him using that to just walk around and just shoot villagers. One on one side of the town center, next moment on the other. And that's the Sioux. Though having said that,
a couple kickoffs here.
Scores are fairly even, though. GiveUAnxiety, 2 villagers up, but as you say, it's going to be tough to really collect any resources, any food, so...
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot of his villagers here gathering on berries, which is certainly not something that you want to be doing. However, all things considered, I mean, SoldieR's not aging just yet, so I mean, there is that. Perhaps saving for something like dog soldiers or something here.
He did have an absolute ton of resources, which did disappear.
Yeah, he's aging now, and I was gonna say, like, probably SoldieR's follow up here is he's just gonna want to age and get out some rifle riders and Wakinas, and then get his veteran upgrades, and then just kind of stand on resources at this point. I don't like the fact that he's running all the way up here with all of his bow riders. I think those bow riders should continue just to be prodding down here. There's really nowhere else. I mean, where else is GiveUAnxiety, the India player, going to be gathering food from if it's not right here? I mean, certainly he's not going to be gathering at this hunt. Maybe you could stand like a bear or some sort of treasure guardian or something up at this hunt just to make sure that he's not there. But aside from that, like, the only place he's going to have to gather is this place right out front of his Agra. So I think he could have denied that a little bit better. But at the same time, is it really going to matter? I mean, soon he's going to be aged up. He's got lots of resources. He's going to be able to start spamming out Wakinas. We've kind of neglected the fact that he did get the stagecoach upgrade, and he has been, sitting on 3 stagecoach TPs for a very, very long time, meaning he's, his economy is not that weak and stuff, so.
Has that sort of made Sioux look a lot stronger than they are? That in this particular game, he got away with it, where he's had quite a substantial amount of resources coming in over the course of the game from the trading post.
Yeah, I mean, with where the corral is, and I don't know, maybe SoldieR adapted to this playstyle, having scouted the Agra fort and seen everything, but with where the corral is built out front here, had GiveUAnxiety just like made 15 sepoys and right-clicked on this location, we maybe would have never even gotten to this point where you know, India was this far behind or whatever, just because.
He said his first shipment was 3 trading posts, which is really quite slow and easy to punish.
Yeah, it would have, and I mean, 4 bull riders isn't scary, right? Even 8 bull riders isn't that scary. It's when you get, you know, 15, 20 bull riders, and they're able to kite around. That it really starts to get annoying to deal with. So it looks like one last little desperation push here. I don't mind this at all. I mean, GiveUAnxiety really not in any position to age himself. And he really needs to get something rolling for himself before the Wakinas and the rifle riders really start to pour out.
But here they are. That is a shipment of 5 rifle riders. They have arrived. He saw his opponent hit up to Fortress and thinks, okay, he's just spent 2,200 resources doing nothing because he's not been making units. But I do think Blue is able to, he's got enough. The elite bow riders have arrived. Ooh, having said that, though, actually...
There's a lot of sepoy in this fight. Here come the dogs.
Dog soldiers, very strong indeed, with an absolutely huge amount of hit points, 720 with that 1.5 damage multiplier versus all infantry of all descriptions.
But at the same time, like, this mass of sepoy isn't falling over. Back with the British consulate, like, his infantry mass is pretty strong here, and I mean, SoldieR's really kind of running out of food. He doesn't have a lot of food available to him. He just sunk all of that into the dog soldiers, which aren't really what he needs against these sepoy. And India's not recovered, but he's at least giving himself some time. Like, all he's wanted to do this whole game is gather food unprotected like this, and that's exactly what he's able to do at this point in the game, just because he's out here active on the map. That being said, something like 8 Wakina could pop out and just wreck his day.
Yeah, that's what he needs.
Very easily.
8 skirmishes, essentially. Very strong against, of course, sepoys. But here, though, I think we see, you know, 10 bow riders have popped out.
Here they came. Here came the Wakinas as well.
And yeah, on top of that with a shipment. So pushing when he was weak, obviously just hit up to the next stage. But SoldieR has enough power left in him to stabilize pretty quick after. And he's going to have, you know, a huge amount of units. Absolutely staggering. Yes, GiveUAnxiety's economy is 20 villagers up, but that's not going to mean anything if these villagers are so out in the open.
Well, we have to realize every single villager that I have on my screen right here, which is basically in the area that I've layered, is no longer a villager because it's not going to be gathering for the next 5 minutes due to the, you know, remaining Sioux units.
Just use up one population. That's what it is.
Yeah, as Victor Sioux said, villagers, all they do is take up population. The mighty wise Victor Sioux.
Such a quote. Very good. That is the second game, though.
Yes.
I'm guessing that was why, what was his name, who deleted them all? Oh no, that was his villagers. No, H2O didn't do it for them.
No, that was a
funny story. He goes to double click on his sheep or cows or whatever to press delete. But ends up double-clicking his villagers. It was his villagers, right?
Yeah, that's... that it was. Rest in peace.
I don't know what... Like, it's not hugely related to the story you just told, but that still makes me laugh every single time. Big tournament final, delete all your villagers. Oh.
Just makes you smile.
Yep. But that is the end of the second game. I'm going to stop the recording now. We're going to get into the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 3 in this best of 7 series between GiveUAnxiety and... I am Soldier Boy, yeah, etc.
You!
Craig that Soldier Boy. Indeed. Game number 3, here we go. Saguenay. What building are we going to start with? Oh, you don't get one. Oh, that's very
You don't get one because it's Hudson Bay.
Oh, it's Hudson Bay. But it's not quite Saguenay. But at least Saguenay still retains its hype building. It does indeed. This is essentially Saguenay, actually. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you start down a little further south, so there's like more room. Your base isn't as close to the water as it is on Sag.
Yeah.
And there's not like the annoying like little ponds and extra choky points.
That's
in the middle of the map.
Sometimes you can get say like a lake right here where my screen is. I don't know, say like there, Zuta, and you can build like a wall across that. I saw that happen in I think PK Clan Tournament 3 Grand Finals, which are on my channel if anyone was interested. Casted by me. But indeed, we do have in the east of the map, in the color red, SoldieR playing as China for this game. Here he is. China, I quite like. I think it's because it's reminiscent of Spain in the sense that they do a fast fortress, which we will.
And the fact that you FF every game.
I like the FF playstyle. That's me. OP goat, says SoldieR. Oh, you do have goats on this map. Gonna send them back. Gonna be quite nice for China. Indeed, put them on the village. It counts as a livestock pen. Get those fattening. Really quite nice. India, though, also gonna be benefiting. What's funny, Zuta? Tell me.
Well, it's the fact that he said OP goats and then he just hasn't passed any of his livestock to his village.
True.
That's just what's funny to me.
Oh, there's one of them on there, I think. I'm sure he'll put them on there.
That one accidentally went on there because like he clicked it back to his town center. It was close enough so like auto-engaged the village. Yeah. But the other two, no, they're just well, maybe they just don't want to fatten up. They just prefer to be skinny.
Yeah. That's being slimmer is certainly a thing in this modern world, I suppose. But they are goats. It's completely different. Anyway, I'm sure he'll put them in the thingy in the moment, and that's something he'll do. But India picking himself up a tomahawk there. Nice musketeer sort of thing. Pretty good. Certainly could be useful during that first fight, that first engagement, that one extra unit. But to give you anxiety, as you can see clearly from the two elephants we were looking at, playing as India in the west of the map in the color blue. There he is.
Did you see how fast those coyotes died, by the way? Like,
I did.
Three volleys, like, and like all of those treasure guardians are like that treasure takes. And I guess part of the reason maybe why I don't take that treasure a lot is because that treasure with like a European explorer, you crack shot one of them and you're like crack shotting a coyote, so you don't really feel so great about that because it's kind of like a low priority target to be crack shotting.
You want to kill
and
the
then you have
ones,
to
right?
and then you have to like kite around and like actually do some work. Whereas like India, like I guess maybe just like runs over, stuns them, and just like blows up the wolves and they take the treasure. It's like really easy, but I don't know that. That once again, going back to last game, that is not a treasure that I would stop and pick up.
I guess if there's nothing else, then
yeah.
But it could be good. I mean, as you said, but there is that. But what do you think of this matchup, China versus India? I did ask you before we started the game, but tell us again.
Yeah. So to go a little bit more in depth. There's a couple of things that I look for when I see China playing in an FF situation. So, like I mentioned, China normally fast fortresses, and basically, what we mean when we say FF or fast fortress.
Oh, hold on! Did he train these three disciples at his monk?
Yeah, most certainly must have.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. But the fact spending 80 food per thingy on that, and he's not even.
And he's not even going to be able to pick it up. He's not even going to be able to pick it up because he just got the explorer killed.
His explorer was being attacked by the elephant, and I don't know how weak it was, but the disciples popped out, and wow. Okay.
He killed it with town center fire, actually. That's what he killed it with. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, when we say FF or fast fortress, what we mean is basically neglecting the second age in terms of military production and using all of your resources to get to the third age as quickly as possible, and then you get some sort of tech advantage. So making units that are stronger because they have veterancy upgrades, or they're stronger mechanically, like they're falconets, so they're cannons, they're units that are only available in the third age. They're veteran dragoons, veteran skirmishers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what we mean by fast fortress. And China's got one of the best fast fortresses in the game. And in fact, their Age 2 play, their colonial-based play, really isn't that good. It's a bit slow. It dies to a lot of the same kind of pressure that their fast fortress is going to die to anyways. And so they're most of the times just better off going straight for the Age 3 play. Now, that being said, there are some things that make Age 3 play safer than others. One is where your coin mine is positioned, because you do have to gather coin to not only get the resources to age up, but then once you get aged up, almost all of the units you're going to be making, at least all the relevant units, do cost some amount of coin. So you're going to need to have a fairly safe coin mine, which is one thing I look at. And the other thing I look at is where are the villages placed? When you're trying to straight FF, each of China's villages give you 20 population space. And that 20 population space is going to be very, very vital in making sure that you can send your shipments. And so if you can't send your shipments because you're house capped, you have to be very, you might just lose the game because you don't have the ability to make units. That being said, we can see that the coin mine is pretty good for SoldieR. The one thing that I don't really like is this village placement. I think this village is placed very, very poorly. If you are indeed going to do a straight FF, I'd like to see that like at least in town center range, because this is in a position where 5 Stepboy can stand up here and siege on that village, and there's nothing that SoldieR can really do to deal with it. If he knew he was going to FF straight off the go, which I mean certainly he did, because we can see that this is just boilerplate, FF. He's got 700 coin on the ground. He's gathering food. Very, very obvious FF build just straight from the start. Would have liked to see that village, at the very least creeped in here a little bit. Maybe even like back behind his town center by this coin mine or something like that. But I think that's the only real mistake that he's made so far.
You just expect China to fast fortress as any civ. You just think, well, China, they do that. They're very strong at doing that. You send, well, obviously, of course, northern refugees or your 3 villages, no matter what civilization, get those out. Follow it up, just collect nothing but food. Collect a little bit of gold, 300 gold, and send 700 gold. Nothing but food other than that. Age up, get up to there. You've got, as Zuta mentioned, you get the veteran upgrades for free on units like skirmishers and dragoons, or the equivalents. Of course, China changes them in batches, but essentially units that are really, really strong. Skirmishers absolutely annihilate musketeers, dragoons absolutely annihilate cavalry, the colonial units, and can be really strong. So there is that. He's going to be expecting that 700 wood on the floor, going to be using that to get up some houses, and of course the military building that he would like. See what he does. And this pressure is going to come in. It's going to be very strong. It's going to be tough to deal with. India, though, might be able to, we'll have to see if he can hold it, and if he can, I like these kind of matchups. I really like that critical mass, can you hold it? Can you hold the pressure? Can you stabilize? Very exciting.
Yeah, and we should talk about what India's doing behind this, because he's not doing what I think I would do. The way I would play this, and the way that I play against China FF with most civs, is to try, like, this is a very punishable mistake in my eyes this SoldieR has made. Something that, the higher the level the player, like, the less kind of mistake that you would expect like this to be. But like, seeing this is a very deniable thing, this village. The positioning of the summer palace is okay. The market, I do like the wall, but this village is kind of a weak point to me. And I would have liked to seen, at least some aggression played against that. At the very least, he gets at least 2 free stepwise from the aggro fort, right? He's always going to have those 2. And China ideally doesn't want to be making any units. If they're making any units, their age up time is slowed down, even if it's called Minutemen or making disciples out of the monk, like anything like that is going to slow them down. So just the fact that he didn't put any forward aggression whatsoever kind of bothers me a little bit. And I mean, he doesn't have to commit to all out aggression, but if he could have picked off that village with like 10 stepboys and then gone back and aged himself, would have been in a better position. But that being said, he is aging himself. He does have good market upgrades, or at least I would assume he has good market upgrades. Yeah, we can see he's got flume and ditching, professional hunters. That's SoldieR. No, okay, he's got imperial bureaucracy researching, so he's got flume and ditching. He's got professional hunters as well. So very good upgrades. He is going to be up slightly slower than his opponent, but at the same time, I think we're actually going to see something kind of similar to what we saw in the first game.
Do you think so? Maybe with the town centers as well? Are they going to be playing the booming? I think with the fast fortress, SoldieR will be taking that a bit more seriously with the aggression. Though, of course, those shipments are going to be coming out, lots of them.
It's hard to say. I mean, there's the Tower of Victory once again for India, right? And I think we're just going to see these elephants drop a town center right up here. Like, I'm almost certain of it. What are we got here? Oh my goodness, he's going for the Cree settlement as well. Like, SoldieR's playing straight up eco as well. Like, he's going for the Cree, and I would have to assume he's just going to like try and Cree boom behind this, which is could be effective.
They give you the Carrera de Bois white. Oh, two steppy riders gonna take down the villager there, but actually no, gonna be forced away. Not losing the 2 Zeppoi, which is good. They didn't want to overcommit to that. But you get the Carrera de Bois out of this trading post. Wow, do you really think That's a good idea. I mean, China, very strong fortress
Oh my
pressure, really, really pile out the units quickly from the unit shipments, and obviously being fortress age units, they are quite strong.
Soldier is
Instead,
cutting so many corners. He's cutting so many corners right now, and it may just work because he knows his opponent's play style. And I mean, we have to go back for people who are maybe just joining. These guys are brothers, so they've obviously played a lot of games against each other.
Yeah.
But like this is not how normally China would approach this. Like he's built a second defensive town center in his base and a Kree trading post to try and get the Kree CDB. That in itself is so aggressive, and he hasn't really even scouted. I mean, to be perfectly honest, he's they're just both blindly like playing pure eco.
blind pure boom, town center going down, and one already up. 3 TCs for India. GiveUAnxiety on a slight villager lead, but both players, as you mentioned, with the pretty good market upgrades, both certainly have imperial bureaucracy. That's every market upgrade, right? Bar a few of the wood ones.
Oh man, like if China had just shipped military units and was just rolling out across the map with, I don't know, like 60 or 70 military pop right now, what would India do? I guess he's got a complete wall and up. I don't even know. Like I'm just very confused.
It's certainly interesting.
We're gonna settle in. We're gonna settle in for a long one. Once again, what it's gonna come down to is probably these coin mines. At some point, like this coin mine is going to run out, probably within the next, I don't know, I guess in 5 minutes or whatever. That is gonna run out. SoldieR does bring up a very good point. He is China, and if China gets to age 4, ooh, look at his deck as well.
Oh, I'm gonna take a look now.
Like he's loaded up with age 4 cards. Like he's got old Han reforms. He's got the Chukanu card. He's got the age 4 upgrades. Like he's ready to slug this one out in the 4th age if things get to that point.
Wow, old Han reforms. What a card. 50% too.
And he's not even like committing to arquebusiers or anything. Like God. I don't think SoldieR has actually made military units yet. I'm pretty sure, actually, that he hasn't made military.
Nope. His first one is Flying Crow, but that's not even one he's made. It spawns for free.
Yeah.
But I guess you could count that as being trained.
I mean, I think he's like the only military units that he's made so far are units that he's gotten for free from the Summer Palace and from aging up. So, I'm curious.
First encounter here, 13 minutes, staggering. Yeah. 29 unit population.
And they both just like run away. I'm so surprised that like GiveUAnxiety just turned around and ran away. Like his army is so much better right there. Like because China's playing like as greedy as, look at what SoldieR is doing. Like he's just building trading posts, and like he's got a native post, and if this villager goes over to build on water, I'm just gonna like start crying.
It's gonna be in for the long one. Do they have any water capabilities in their deck? Neither player wanting to commit to water from the beginning of the game, which is entirely understandable. But
but getting back to the point I was saying earlier, at some point this coin mine runs out, and then I guess like he's kind of forced to come out here at least, and
get wrecked, Flying Crow, sit down.
And then at that point, maybe we see some action. But by that point, I think, look at China. China's going towards the 4th age right now.
Wow, he's done it. He's put that age up in queue. Fortress age, no longer.
Oh, look at what GiveUAnxiety's done. He's realized, at some point my coin is going to run out. I'm just going to move up my wall. And so he just takes it, moves it up a layer, secures this position. All right, we're set for another 15 minutes. So funny.
Oh, God. But what's going to happen? China in Fortress Age, if he does get Old Han reforms out, going to be very strong. If he gets any of the Industrial Age upgrades, certainly going to be strong as well.
The thing is, like, India is strong enough here right now that he might just be able to move across the map and kill SoldieR. Like, SoldieR has played incredibly greedy. He's got He's got, 2 TCs, the native trading post. He's going to the 4th age. Hasn't even made really a single military unit. Sure, he's gotten into the industrial age, but at the same time, like
His opponent's on 70 unit population. You've only
Yeah.
got 20. Here it comes, the storm. Now approaching. Firstly, might take out that village, which buys him a little bit of time. He's got plenty of population. Ooh, perhaps not, though, actually. Blue... Oh, no, red has got plenty of population.
The wall line is going to move up even further.
So I see.
It's creeping its way forward. He needs to secure these
even more gold mines. Yep.
The one thing that this army really lacks here for GiveUAnxiety is that it doesn't have much siege potential. It's only got like these 15 or so odd. Here come the siege cannons. That'll help.
That definitely will help. There's
I was gonna say like all he's got is Gurkhas. It's gonna take him forever to like bring this stuff down, but.
That's true. Oh, but these rice paddy fields as well. He's having to spend like not only is he behind, had to spend all these resources getting to industrial age, 800 resources on wood. Therefore, not
Old Han
military.
Reforms is here, by the way, and I expect we'll see 21 Chukanu as like another shipment here fairly soon.
Wow. Okay. Fast industrial is real. 21 Jokanu with the old Han Reform.
Yeah.
50%.
And at that point,
no,
like
100% better.
Yeah, that makes him so strong. But still, like, look at the military discrepancy. Like, I don't know, it might not matter. And I mean, not only does Red have to get aged up in order to fight this, he's pretty much got to like get all the way up to the honored Chukanu. We can see he just finished the disciplined Chukanu, so they are getting stronger. But he needs to get upgrades for those units as well, and that. It's just a timely process. It just takes a lot of time. But that being said, GiveUAnxiety is not really killing anything that really matters so far. And it looks like here we're gonna fight maybe.
I think we might do. Is he going to take it? Summer Palace has gone down. Perhaps he wanted to take the fight to try and preserve it, but actually it does go down with the elephants there. Engaging with the cavalry, though there's not a huge amount of support from behind. They are going to get back. He's decided he actually doesn't want to. Is he waiting on anything?
He actually Soldier just sent Manchu combat, which improves the efficiency of the old Han unit composition even more. But there's like howdas and stuff in the mix here as well. Like I don't know,
these things so strong.
India is so strong right now.
Double population, irrespective of how good old Han is. They are still just China stickmen, which aren't actually that good to begin with. Certainly very strong once old Han, but can you just see tearing down that old crow? And really, what are these units? Certainly got to the industrial age, but maybe missing the point of the China FF.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, like he's got, look how many resources he had. If he had just spent all these resources somehow, here comes the 21
Chukanu coming out. That does boost his military population by quite a staggering amount, but actually still only 50 units down.
I don't know. I'm not convinced. Like I'm believing in the power of the Chukanu here.
So what we're looking at? 12 ranged attack. They shoot like a volley of 3 or 4 units at a time. So what's that? 12 times 4 or 5. 229 hit points, which is essentially double what your regular skirmisher is. Of course, these are disciplined Gurkha.
They're so beefy. Like 230 hit points. Like what? What kind of bow unit has 230 hit points? We do have to remember behind all this, he does still have 85 villagers and is in the 4th age. His opponent is not in the 4th age, does not have age 4 upgrades, and has made howdas and Gurkhas, which aren't particularly good against Bo Pike. I'm telling you, this is not. All right. In fact, I think Red's even in favor here.
You think? What if he'd not taken the Summer Palace and instead pushed in perhaps on top of the barracks or moved in?
I mean, he needed to deny the resources. Like even if he had been able to like find where villagers, like I mean the thing about Bo Pike, right, is you're gonna have to be gathering wood.
Wow, old Han reforms 21 crossbowmen, Chokanu. The whole thing is like a double military pop. Well, what was going on here?
The Russian factory is even up.
Russian consulate grabbing himself a factory. Wow, China real and all set up for the long game with his rice paddies surrounding the porcelain tower, which obviously makes everything. Oh no, that's automatic. I can't believe Blue had double military pop or more.
He still has double military pop.
And China's still... Wow, that's a lot of... Well, he did before. And then
he's
he
got
evened
it
it
in
up.
elephants. It's like all of his military pop is in elephants. Like, look at the mahouts and howdas and stuff he's got. That's still a really scary army.
I'm still shocked. I honestly thought Blue was winning so hard when he had 100 units and China had 50.
Yeah.
Oh, these units getting caught out of position. They don't want to be there. They want to be with the rest of the Chocanu behind that wall. This is going to make it pretty tough to come back, especially since India is doubling his population yet again.
But look at the Quang pikemen. Look at how tanky they are as well. Like with
283.
With
Tercio pikemen.
With 18 hand attack with a 5x multiplier. Like, they will melt those elephants with no problems. And there's just so many of them coming on. Another flying crow coming into the mix as well.
Oh, my apologies. I'd stepped on a bottle. That's just the crunching sound of these blue... I was going to say of the red units being annihilated, but no. Inspiration has been cast. Quite a lot of extra attack damage and hit points as well. I'm not sure on these red unit or whoever. Yeah.
Red's got this. No problems.
No problem. But it doesn't look like it. But it's.
Yeah, it does. I mean, when you take into consideration how strong
I'm not used to looking at these Chocanu being so strong. You just don't think that they are. You're like, yeah, they're just Chocanu. You know, pretty.
Yeah, they just don't die. They're up to 250 HP. Look at he sent standard army hit points in Western reforms now as well. Like those things are up to 250
wow.
hit points.
These things are
they're like little falconets.
Doing it again. Pulling back from being literally half as many units as his opponent.
Yeah, and another important thing we have to
look at the scores here. He's 100 points up.
Yeah, look, the important thing to look at here is if you take a look at the shipments tab, the past 3 shipments for each players has been 9 Zams, 3 Mahouts, and 8 Gurkhas versus like basically upgrades Western,
which are permanent, right?
Upgrades, Manchu combat.
Aside from that 21 Chocanu.
Yeah, which was fairly important at that point in time. And now, I don't know. This is how does he recover? Like China is set. He's got the Russian factory up. He's got basically his own factory, which is the porcelain tower. He's maxed out and ready to go. What's going on up here? What's going on up here?
Oh, is there units on it? Perhaps a villager does want to build a tower on perhaps the island.
And there was units in it, but he ejected them on that island. He's got like basically everything in there. He's got like all of his Chocanu in there. Maybe gonna set up for a Chocanu raid. Or maybe there's some pike in there I didn't see. Like maybe he's gonna like
incoming
try and, like
50 units gonna unload. Lots of Chocanu. Wow, what a sneaky little bugger. He's coming in from behind. I better rein in my use of language here. We're gonna take out lots of villages there. He's pretty okay, right?
Yeah, he can just siege that TC, honestly.
Attacking from 2 angles.
Wow.
What a cheeky guy. That's like now forcing all these villagers off the rice paddies. And Blue's army is... Where is Blue's army? It's now on its way back to defend this.
He's trying to come back, but at the same time, it's just going to be split up in the front. Your front side army moving forwards as well.
Yeah, 80 villagers coming to a halt. Only very few of them actually working now. That's a lot of resources he's not going to have. Look at the Iron Soldiers. Look how many resources he's stacking. 3.3 thousand food. 2,600 wood.
He can go Imperial.
He could. Well, and then get the 50% upgrades on top. Falconet coming out of the British consulate. Certainly going to be quite useful against infantry there. And I think he's going to be able to nice and easily clean this up with the units in his base. But Red storming through.
He's not even like quote cleaning it up. Like he's just having like an all-out fight here. Like he's actually losing units and villagers and stuff. Like I don't know. Like my units can't win.
I can't believe he got away with it. Like that's not what you do as China. You don't just go up to industrial. Oh god.
Yeah. He shouldn't have gotten away with it, but like I said, he knows his brother's tendencies. He cut some corners, cut the appropriate corners, and got away with it as a result, more probably of like just identifying the player than anything else.
Yeah, I can't believe how many resources he has. That's like,
You don't see that many resources normally in an Age of Empires 3 game.
no. What does he even do with them? Like,
Age is up. Like he needs to like flip around his porcelain tower in his factory to make sure like he's getting enough gold so that he can get to the 5th age.
yeah.
Like just imagine all these chickanews with an extra 50% more hit points.
These are the beefiest. Like, I want to see. I don't know. I was gonna mention something to do with Azemk, but I don't like how Azemk gets his name mentioned on every single stream now without even having to play anymore.
Even though you just mentioned you were going to say his name, and then you like said it like 3 times, like in the fact that you're not going to mention his name.
Azemk style China.
Oh wow! Look up
industrial.
here. Did you see up in the north of the map? I just noticed it. There's like 4 war academies going
chopping down war academies. Oh god, this isn't like traditional Age of Empires at all. This is this is hilarious.
This is Soldier Boy style.
Soldier. Well, it's yep.
All right. Interesting game.
Interesting game. Soldier.
It's definitely fun to see something different, something new. Keeps it fresh.
Soldier's certainly a very good player, and perhaps able to pull that off better than I think. Soldier very capable of a standard FF normal play. I think Soldier good enough to do that. But trying this, certainly I am quite impressed by the strength of the old Han reforms and all of these other stacked unit upgrades. Very entertaining.
They are. Just the ridiculousness of that unit is.
Like, I love how it upgrades Chokanus by 100%, but the other things are not so much. I can't see his deck. That's a shame. Anyway, I'm gonna end the recording. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Saturday Smackdown. Which game is this, Zuta? I've lost count.
Game number 4.
Game number 4.
It's a decider.
It's a decider. 3 points to Soldier. 0, unfortunately, to his brother, GiveUAnxiety. Soldier's certainly a very strong player from back in the day. GiveUAnxiety by no means bad. Not at all a very strong player, but I do think Soldier traditionally has always been the stronger player.
It's funny because he's the older brother too, and so like the stigma of being the older brother and having played the game first and always have been slightly better and slightly older, slightly wiser, slightly better at the game. But who knows? Maybe 2015 is GiveUAnxiety's time to shine.
Yeah, perhaps it is. I know GiveUAnxiety will have been practicing quite a lot for obviously the tournament coming up. Their first game in this series was essentially their group stage match. Every other game they've played today isn't for the tournament. Their tournament, there'll be a video on my channel explaining what that is at some point. But yes, here we have GiveUAnxiety playing as indeed the Iroquois in the north of the map. Here he is, that northeasterly position. Yep, I hope it's east. It is east.
It is.
I do have to think.
Sometimes those directions can be tricky.
They can do. Well, north and south, I've never had a problem with. It's just, oh, can he get his trading post? Yes, he can. That guy. Well, that's a really fat guy. That one. Maybe he's just really buff from carrying that cart around a lot.
Yeah, if you had to carry that cart around on that dirt path over and over and over, like
your comments insightful as always.
You would get super buff as well.
I just
look at him, just like look at that cart. It's like massive. Must be so heavy.
Yeah, that's not. At least that one's got wheels there, right? You know that poor donkey that doesn't have wheels on the cart.
Yeah. That's just tragic.
That it is rather tragic. But Iroquois leaving his wood on the floor. Doesn't want that. He doesn't. He's got enough wood for his trading post, and he's gonna be building that house, which he has done with his travois. Gonna be aging up super quick, not messing around here. He's just like, I don't need that wood. That's a waste of gather time. I'm gonna leave that on the floor. Get up a bit quicker. Once I've got the age up in queue, I can always go back and get that. Might even eat these cows. We'll see what he does. But indeed, in the south of the map, in the color red, we do have his brother. Not the opponent, just his brother, indeed. I'm Soldier, playing as the Spanish. I'm looking forward to this. I do like Spain being played. I think Azemk played Spain last week. Used the special Spain button where he turns everyone into a cow. On this map, I believe, as well, actually. That was... Well, not last week. The last time I was here, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone will know exactly what that is, but it doesn't matter. Azamk, certainly. Anyway, Spain being played. It's not traditionally ever been the strongest civ on TAD. I'm going to let Zuta tell us about that.
In no way whatsoever has Spain ever been the strongest civ on TAD. No. When TAD was released, Spain got a bunch of direct and indirect nerfs that really kind of hurt them. Their FF just isn't as strong. Just in general, there's a lot of civs that have just mechanical advantages over them now. Let's face it, like basically all of the TAD civs have, you know, some sort of very strong musket or some way to like deal with Spain's FF, and just as a result, like Spain just kind of fell to the wayside there. They don't really have anything going for them. And their one really big strength, which is their FF, that was really strong for them in vanilla and continues to be strong for them in vanilla, just isn't really there. And so they just kind of turned into a mediocre European civ that can't really play H2 because they lack, you know, ranged infantry shipments. They lack some upgrades to an extent. You know, they've got an abundance of heavy infantry upgrades, but who really wants to be shipping like 8 pikes, 6 rods, like repeatedly?
Yeah, and it's 6 rods. It's like, what is that? Like, it used to be 7, which is pretty, like, seems pretty good. And all of their Fortress Age shipments, they had a 5 Lancer, it's now 4 Lancers. They had a 4 Lancer, which is now 3, and any soldier hasn't even bothered putting that in his deck. He's like, nope, I don't even want that. Lots of nerfs on all of their Rodilleros. And they receive less XP. Normally their shipments are even cheaper on vanilla. That's why their FF is so good, but here they are slightly more expensive, and that is essentially why. But still, by the looks of it, going to be going with that traditional Spanish FF build. Got that trading post down, perhaps going for 2 TPs actually.
I don't know that he's even going to FF. I think he's going to have to be forced into colonial play. I mean, we do have to remember he's playing against Iro, and Iro has got a, you know, knocking on his doorstep here with the FB. So I'm pretty sure he'll just drop down to Rex and probably try and play some sort of defensive cross pike to start with.
Yeah.
And eventually, you know, he'd like to transition into the Fortress Age when he can. But, well, maybe that being said, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Did age up with the governor. Now there comes that Rex.
That Rex going down. 200 coin on the floor, though, certainly suspicious. I always, you know, look at Spain, I'm like, yeah, they're going to FF. It's, I mean, what they do. But then it isn't that good.
You can use that 200 coin for other stuff, too, right?
You
like
can.
That's
Musketeers.
2 batches of muskets. That's you Minutemen, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
it's like you don't have a 400 wood shipment, and therefore colonial play is worse. And as you say, you don't have any ranged infantry to ship like crossbowmen, which means holding pressure can be difficult, or even shipping them to pressure is difficult. Your semi-FF isn't even that good either, because you don't have an age up fast option, so most of the time you're just forced to train musketeers or hussars during transition, which is just not what you want to do. It's really tough to know what to do with Spain. And here comes
no fast
SoldieR.
age up. Did you say that? Did you say there's no fast age up?
I said that, yeah.
Yeah, there is no fast age up. To be fair, though, SoldieR's setup here is pretty good. His herding has been really good.
Yep.
His building placement is quite good.
Saving the villager. Oh, 4 crossbowmen coming out. Can he save the second one? I don't... Oh, no, tried to, though. Here we do have 7 Aena plus the 5 he trained. Gonna take out on the crack shot, absolutely annihilating.
Minutemen and dogs.
Minutemen and dogs.
Could be really good.
Yeah, could be quite strong. Of course, dogs are similar to cavalry in the sense that they're just doing 18 hand damage repeatedly, no multipliers. Actually, they don't have any... Well, to be fair, they're not quite as good as cavalry, I suppose, because you get there only times 0.8 versus cavalry, but certainly really quite useful getting them out of the Explorer there. Managing to hold the pressure with the Town Center fire.
This has been really, really good for SoldieR. He killed all of that stuff really efficiently.
With the tower, too.
With the tower, he kept his scout alive. He was able to clean up basically most of the Aeons. He's still got lots of resources sitting on the floor, so that when he eventually does get this cleaned up, he's going to be able to kind of bounce back from this fairly easily. And most importantly, GiveUAnxiety's follow-up isn't going to be that strong. Only at 21 villagers, only at 18 military population. He's kind of gone a bit all in here with his early pressure.
Yep.
And now that it's failing, SoldieR's got a trading post. He's still got some hunt in his base. He's still got these yaks that he's going to be able to gather. And now with the unit shipments coming out, I actually like his position. I think he's in an okay spot.
I like how you're like, oh, he's only on 22 villages, and then I'm looking at SoldieR. It's like, 18.
Yeah. Well, But I mean, Soldier's got other things going for him.
He
He's
has.
got he's got the XP trickle from being Spain. He's got the XP just from the trading post as well. So I don't know that he's necessarily that far behind in that regard, but did drop another villager there. Little pesky Aena right down here.
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? But he's got the resources on the floor, going to be able to train some units. He has got an abundance of wood, which I guess, like, well, all you can really make now is crossbows out of those. But certainly has the anti-cavalry to protect them with, you know, the Spain and their 6 Rodelero shipments and some what I was going to call the War Dogs cavalry there. A little bit of a skirmish going on. This is what I call the Iroquois fast fortress, which is actually just you go up to colonial, then ship military shipments.
Yeah, it's kind of the same idea, right?
Yeah.
You get aged up faster than your opponent and use that to like get some sort of tech advantage. And let's be frank, Aena's colonial units versus discovery age units is a tech advantage. I mean, when it comes right down to it, right?
Yep. It's a fast fortress without going to the fortress stage. Good God, where do these units come from? There's 33 military.
Holy crap, like just so many units.
They're so spammable. Aena's costing nothing but food, and right now his entire economy, it's literally just on food. He's not got any other resources coming in.
This is going to be tough to hold once again. Soldier's got some stuff here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really needs to figure out a way to get that Explorer down.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? That thing's granting all these units an extra couple, extra hit points, is it? No, something.
Yeah, extra hit
it
points.
Is, yeah, and it's got so many hit points itself. It's such a tank, and that's Crackshot. And the Iroquois gets a free barracks, and they get
the dogs are doing work though here.
They're clearing that well. He's got some units. I'm surprised that he's managed to clear that. Like there was so many units there.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of like getting enough stuff in melee mode as well, and then he's like still continuing to shoot with his ranged units over the melee units, like just trying to get a micro advantage over his brother. But I don't know. There's still so many Aena here. That being said, like behind this, Eero has shipped, 7 Aena, 4 Cav, 6 Tomahawk, 6 Aena. Like, it's just military units. The military unit threat is gone now. That is the number of military unit shipments they have. So, he's not dead just yet. He's on even villagers.
And it's stable going up in the back. This is where it's, this is looking good now.
5 Hussar pop out. And there continues to be, just this massive pure Aena. I mean, look at GiveUAnxiety. He's not even gathering any wood, basically. Although, that being said, he does have a corral coming up now as well. So.
He has switched them just literally to wood, actually. Looking perhaps to add in some other units. Tomahawks cost wood, right, as well. So
right. And, I mean, there's stuff like 8 pike that can come out. I mean, imagine if Soldier's, his next follow-up here is 8 pike and gets out 5 Hussar. All of a sudden, he's got a very scary composition and some Hussar in the mix.
Not too good. Losing a couple there. You're right, though. Though I did just check. There isn't an 8 pikeman shipment in there.
Oh, is there?
Perhaps he doesn't deem... I don't know. I think it's a good shipment. I think... but, still, 5 cavalry. Does he have it in queue? Anything in queue?
He's got a Hussar in queue.
Which is... It could be as good as 5 if he can pull the resources together for that. All these villages going to get... no, come on.
They're all dead.
They're all dead. And, wow. GiveUAnxiety is...
firing squad.
GiveUAnxiety. Done a good job of raiding, of killing some units, though. And I just think it's actually going to be quite tough. Though, you have to remember they don't get steel traps. Does he even have a market? No. So,
he lost his market.
Did he? No, I mean blue.
Blue, yeah. That's really unfortunate. Look at the villager discrepancy now, though. He killed those 6 villagers or whatever that were gathering.
Oh, but can he catch the Tomahawks or the He's got the dogs gonna pull them into hand. Gonna snare them a little bit if he can get these crossbowmen up close and personal, can do some damage. But the 5 Kanya horsemen do come in, catching him out of position here. He's down on villagers, and that's hard to deal with.
That's got to just be game, honestly. I don't see how you recover from that.
Spain, where's your 8 pikeman shipment? Oh, God. Very sad.
Yeah, sad day indeed, but is he, well... I don't know. He's done a good job of like jamming these crossbows in an area where they're hard to kill.
Yeah.
He's continuing to use the dogs very, very well. He's kept his scout alive multiple times.
Five
Where
hussars
did he get
popping
the
out.
resources
Here
for
we
5
go.
hussars?
If they'd arrived just slightly sooner, they could have perhaps been used as like pseudo anti-cav to deal with these Canyas and certainly help kill the Canyas instead of losing the crossbowmen quite as quickly. Unfortunately, only just now popping out, though he can pursue the Aena. But as soon as he saw those hussars, he was like, nope, I'm getting out of here. And he has actually managed to escape his Aena, and they're not going to go down. But military unit population is even. He's managed to pull that back, but then you look at the villagers, and then you're like, oh well. GiveUAnxiety.
If he hadn't lost like those 6 or 7 villagers over on the coin mine, so he would continue to have some sort of coin production, maybe he would be okay. And then the thing is, like, GiveUAnxiety sent 5 vil, 4 vil. Unfortunately, SoldieR's already sent his 5 vil and 4 vil shipments as well. So, barring some sort of like maybe miracle raid, which I don't think is going to happen now.
There are villagers over here. It's doable. He could get it. Though there is a longhouse going up here, so those look a bit more tough to get. But yeah, as you're right, he's going to need a big raid to get back in.
It's the only thing that can really bring him back into the game is a huge raid, and I don't think that that's ever going to happen. It looks like the Kanya are just going to be tasked to following those Hussar around, and
yeah, he's not going to let them get in there.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no way that like Spain is ever going to age up here or anything, right? His resources are pretty much nil. I don't know, maybe some sort of miracle micro fight or something he can get off here.
Getting involved. He does actually have quite a few more units here in this particular fight, especially with the War Dogs now coming in as well. Spending so many resources on these War Dogs, but so worth it. 75 food for a fairly okay unit. Doing it pretty good.
And they've been doing so well against all these archers as well.
They are. Imagine how difficult Spain would be to play without dogs as well.
It would be tough.
Yeah, dogs are pretty good. Yeah.
Starflank coming in as well.
Yeah. Well,
there haven't been tomahawks made this game. Like, I don't know, maybe he's got a chance.
This fight looks okay for red here. If he can get the, or does it though? Yeah, no, he's got into combat with I think the Kanya's now going to try and get away from that, but I don't know.
He's just bleeding inefficiency, right? Like, at some point, he's just going to end up dying. And
more dogs.
Yeah, and he's just not going to be able to recover. Like, he's just not going to be able to stabilize. There's not going to be, like, the batches of Hussar that are coming out behind this are just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And, I don't know. It's, man, I just keep going back to those, like, 6 vills that he lost. Yeah, if he would have only been able to keep those alive and would have gotten out those Hussar, like, just so many what-ifs, just a matter of seconds, earlier. Yeah. If he would have been able to just kind of, salvage that position down in the southwest portion of the map a little bit better, I think we'd be seeing a very different game. But as it were, he's kind of running out of resources here. Yeah. Map control completely in Blue's favor, and moving forward from here is going to be very, very tough for Spain.
An exceptional job, though, playing as Spain. The weakest Civ. I would say. Like, I'd say Ports is probably stronger against Iroquois. Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, you get 2 TCs.
I think that's true. Second batch of Minutemen. Although, to be fair, like, as Ports, you're not going to be playing against this style of Euro. Euro's just going to play really economically, or else just fortress based and just kill you in that way. Like, that's the other thing about Euro, right? Is this kind of style is really annoying to play against, and we're seeing like how it's so effective and why it's so effective and why so many people do it. But at the same time, like, you don't have to play like this. You can play other styles. You can play economically. You can like age up fast and ship like 600 wood, 5 vil, and like make your opponent crap his pants thinking you're coming at him like balls to the walls, and then like, oops, nope, all of a sudden I got 30 vils. Like, so it's
for this particular style though, Iroquois very strong, age up super fast, 3 barracks from the age up, 7 Aena as a shipment, which is absolutely hilariously good. Aena themselves, they cost nothing but food. It's and you've got so many military shipments, and you get 4 cavalry, which is like, wow, that's a pretty good shipment. And and Iroquois, very strong civilization, the strongest.
Well, and there's the the explorer factor to
yeah.
it. Not only is he a native explorer, so he gets like nature friendship, and he can build a small army, but then he's got that
750 hit points. Like,
he's got that ridiculous crack shot ability that he can do.
And that passive ability of...
provides a buff to all the units he's standing on. Like, just what's up with that? Yes, like why is that unit like randomly? It's like a daimyo. It's like Japan's like H2 shipment in a like a free starting unit. It's just ridiculous.
Very strong. And Spain, as we mentioned, just indirectly nerfed and were always bad in Colonial anyway from the lack of ranged infantry that they had and no 400 wood. This match is very hard, and I think SoldieR did a good job in that early portion of the game, but you just see the strength of Iro come through. Now starting up with the dock. Has he got his schooners out? What is he doing? Just trying to hold on here.
He just doesn't have anywhere else to gather.
Desperation plays like, well, okay, I'll just make a dock. He doesn't want to give up just yet. But
yeah.
This is where the score really does change, because you can see all of these units now going to come in. Doesn't even have to worry too hard about those 5 pikes. Just going to pick them off.
He can just fight. Yeah. Like, honestly, just fight everything.
Oh, he's bringing the villagers in. Truly desperate. He knows that they're going to do some extra DPS, perhaps get them in hand mode. Hopefully the villagers can tank some of the damage, because of course they do have 150 hit points. 10 pikes or 7 popping out, going to be quite effective against these cavalry. 5 cav going to come in, not going to be quite so useful now, but the pike's sort of on the wrong side. It's not looking too good. But even having said that, even if he wins this fight, which these pikes could certainly well help, though most of them have gone actually. They're all blinded. Good lord. Yeah, that is it. Bringing them all down, even if he won the fight. Villagers, just, that is that.
And I love the fact that, I love the fact that Blue's down 3-0 in score. He wins a game where he's playing, like, a fairly imbalanced matchup, and then he drops the too easy in chat.
Too easy.
So good.
Only
so good. Brotherly love at its finest.
Get wrecked, sir, brother. Sit down.
Too easy. Drops the too easy.
Yeah. Well, that does conclude that game. Iroquois versus Spanish. Very fun. Absolutely. Well, let's get into the next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Indeed, to the 5th game in this Best of 7 series between GiveUAnxiety and his brother SoldieR. The map is similar to Pampas. Yes. Wow, this is wow, I just want to quickly check over this. Okay, so it's like Pampas. It's not like Pampas, come to think of it.
Yeah, it's you're north south instead of like northeast southwest, but it's basically Pampas.
It's okay, all right.
The tile set is Pampas for sure.
Yeah. It's where did he like take the rocks like from Andes? Maybe he found that in the code of Andes. Certainly looks quite good. There's some hunt over on this side of the map. And anyway, let's introduce our players. I really love how Guy is making new maps for the game. This is so refreshing, even if it is like, yeah. Here we have, I am SoldieR in the south of the map, currently on 3 wins. Just played as Spain in his previous game, as per request. Didn't manage to win it and take the set, though. Is extending Saturday Smackdown, perhaps. Or perhaps he likes a challenge. Playing as Spain and versus Iroquois is certainly a challenge. I'll give him that. Playing as the Portuguese this time around. So another Civ, similar in power level as to Spain. And currently, it's Explorer. Going for that 90 food treasure. Really going to help him out quite a lot, though. Here we see an Outlaw Blowgunner coming along, though he can't pick that up, but certainly could harass his opponent's Explorer there. That is true. I believe the Sioux Explorer now coming in towards that treasure. Maybe he's going to pick that up. Even if he doesn't get the treasure, he might actually kill the Explorer. This could be quite tough. He's going to go in for the treasure. Do you think he's going to get there in time? Looks like he's definitely going to get there. Okay, here he is. And then, obviously, can he go in and get it? Who's going to go in? Oh, Red goes in just slightly sooner. Getting the treasure that he kind of deserves there. But now is just going to get taken out by, of course, this Explorer.
I like how he says BS when his Explorer literally covered like ground from over here to over here, like, to pick up the treasure, and is still gonna kill the Guardian. Kill the Explorer.
Wow, Sioux, so funny. And that's why they have a times 0.5 damage multiplier versus heroes on their Explorer. But with an Outlaw Globe Runner, wow, Wow. Whoa, that thing is so strong.
Yeah,
He got
so
that
good.
for free. What the? It's got 30 ranged attack.
Yep.
And 162 HP. Like,
Yeah, it's
nature
really good.
friendship is just like, yup, we'll just take this unit that's about. So you could compare it to a musketeer in strength. It's not really. That's like a 100 resort. What the? Nature friendship ability, ladies and gentlemen.
Balanced.
Very strong. Yeah.
Very balanced.
Yeah. Going for an 80 coin treasure. Here he is. Going to pick that up. Has killed his opponent's explorer. And Portuguese kind of doesn't have any other scouting units, so that's kind of annoying. Does have his hunt, though, fortunately, so this is good. This map reminds me of OP Spain days.
I wish we could see a soldier's vision, because from my recollection, he ran like up to here, over to here, took a bunch of damage, retreated back to here, and proceeded to die. So he's got like a little tiny bubble of vision, like right out front of his base that he's explored, and the rest of the map is just black.
That's hilarious. That's ridiculous. Oh
Yeah.
god. Sioux Explorer, and his exploration is going to be outrageous. It's going to be so good because of the speed at which that guy can move. But yes, GiveUAnxiety. Here he is in the north of the map in the color blue, playing as the Sioux. Indeed. What do you think of this matchup? I spent quite a long time talking, though. I guess you did help.
Yeah, I think this is actually okay for ports, to be perfectly honest. Like we mentioned in the previous bye Blowgunner. We mentioned in the previous Sioux game that Sioux kind of has matchups that they excel in and matchups that they don't excel in. This is one of the matchups that I don't think they do particularly well in, and the reasons for that is we kind of talked about like the mechanical ways that you can beat Sioux by like just protecting your resources well and just kind of like standing, strong anti-cav units on top of your hunts. And ports do a pretty good job of that by a couple of mechanicals ways. One's they get free town centers every time they age up, so you can just plop those on top of resources and keep your villagers really quite safe. And two, they have a really good straight FF, which is going to allow them to get out a reasonable number of dragoons, which are going to do very, very well against bow rider mass. So I really do look for soldier probably just a straight FF here. I'm going to gather up that crate of foods. I'm perfectly expecting and fine with him just straight out shipping 700 coin as his first card in the colonial age, and just going like straight 700 coin and then like just building only dragoons when he ages up. And I think if he can do that, camp on top of his resources, secure his coin mines, should be in a perfectly fine position to secure this win.
Yep. 500 food, quite a nice age up for ports. I mean, it's quite tough to sustain villager production from 2 town centers early on, if you want to FF, that is. 400 wood is, normally the one you would send. You get some houses out with that, and it can be really quite nice. But 500 food, gonna get the age up. 700 coin, there it is. We'll see him go straight up there, and as Zuta says, perhaps make some of those dragoons. See what he does in the fortress, certainly can be quite strong. And 2 town centers is always nice against a civ that likes to raid you. That is true.
Also, notice he did send Colonial Militia as his first card as well. So when these raids do potentially come, going to be able to battle back with his town centers as well. So
50%
that's definitely
more damage at that town center. Really going to be quite strong. I think, you noticed you said goodbye Blowgunner. He got crack shot at the Blowgunner. So that is something you can do. You can crack shot the treasure gardens that they convert. So I guess the nature friendship ability isn't quite as good. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out from earlier. Very fun. But we do see that first batch of bow riders. Here it comes in the first 4 axe rider shipment. Going to be running around doing some damage.
Why is he not gathering up his coin? He needs to gather that so he can age.
He does. He does.
He just straight out needs to gather his coin. Like, just gather your coin crate so you can start aging.
He's doing that now, though. He's doing that, yeah. But could be aging already. Certainly has the food for it. Oh, God.
Yeah. Rest in pieces. Sweet interjection. Sounds like we had a cough attack. Yeah, he's certainly a little bit of a mistake there, not gathering up the coin crate. Could have been aging probably 30 or 40 seconds ago by this point. He hasn't been overly pressured by these bow riders, just didn't take the time to gather up his resources that effectively.
Yep, but he is now going up, so that's good. Should be okay. Though these bow riders still being a bit of a pain in the bottom, trying to keep his villagers inside that town center. Not going to let him gather up what he wants to do.
Yeah, but once like 5 dragoons come on, I mean, we have to realize bow riders really aren't that good against dragoons. Axe riders certainly aren't that good against dragoons. And you know, once we get 5, maybe 10 dragoons out, if GiveUAnxiety isn't like aging or doing something similar to improve his like tech position as well, he's just going to fall behind. Soldiers just going to be able to crank out villagers. You know, maybe do something like send 1,000 food or something along those lines, and just be perfectly fine. Another thing I want to point out here is just the very good herding here that SoldieR's done. I've seen him twice go out there and poke that hunt, and even though, you know, he's been getting raided here on the front side of his base under quite a bit of pressure, still keeping the discipline to make sure that he's herding those hunts so that he's going to have, you know, those resources to continue to gather from, so that he makes sure he doesn't get you know, kind of stalled out by these raids here, and that's really good. Herd Pro.
Herd Pro confirmed. There it is. 700 wood now on the floor. Of course, going to use that for the housing to support this Dragoon mass. That we
and his stable. I mean, he doesn't even have a stable up yet. At some point, he's got to build a stable.
Yeah, that's true. But Bow Rider's coming around the back. Colonial Militia has, I guess, maybe it's deterring him from sitting on top. Certainly, it's going to be quite useful. Or in principle, it is.
The most important thing is look at how good this herding is and how mechanically strong that makes it when he's been able to herd. Hell, he was able to age up slowly with Cazadors just because his herding was like good enough that he
just sit down.
Yeah, that he just didn't really have to worry about the pressure because his herding is so good.
Yeah, it didn't want the 6 Cazadors now out, and those things are also quite good against ranged cavalry. How come Dragoons, though? Why do you think we're going to see Dragoons? I thought I was under the impression the Dragoon damage multiplier didn't affect other ranged cavalry.
Well, the biggest issue is that it's just safe. It's a safe unit. Like, it forces him to get to age 3 and build Wakinas to deal with the speed and the mobility of them. And secondly, you just have bow riders which have, you know, they just have melee resistance. They're a bow rider type unit. They're not a shooting gun type unit. That is a distinction between ranged cavalry types in this game. If people aren't aware, that ranged cavalry that are riding on horses with bows have melee resistance, and ones with guns or pistols have ranged resistance. So,
but aren't veteran Cazadors better at killing ranged cavalry such as bow riders?
Certainly they are, but by forcing by making a lot of dragoons, like if you make Cazadors, he can still stay in age 2 and just like make a big transition switch to like mass axe riders, and it's hard to get out of your base and scout that. If you just make dragoons, you have the mobility to get out of your base and scout what he's doing, and like poke around, maybe apply some counter raiding pressure, and you essentially force him to make a decision to age up of his own, because if he doesn't age, he's not going to like. Is he going to really make set and bows to deal with dragoons? Probably not.
Yeah.
It forces him to make that decision to like, well, now I've got to get up to the 3rd age myself. I've got to make Wakinas, and that's just buying yourself more time. Allows you, you know, to continue to gather resources, get your 3-town center production flowing, and holy crap, what is SoldieR doing?
He's built
a church.
He's built a church. He sent 700 wood. He sent 1,000 wood. I think he wants Posterios, Zuta. What do you think of that? 2,400 wood, though, they cost. It basically gives you, was it 20 crossbowmen?
It's like 22. It's a lot.
It's a lot of crossbowmen. And you get the guard upgrade permanently for free. Then that also includes the veterancy upgrade, I believe.
That is correct.
Yeah, so you get the guard and veterancy plus 22, 4,000 wood. The problem is it's really slow in the sense that you need 2,400 wood. He's still about 1,000 wood away from that.
Yeah, and 2 shipments. Let's not forget that you need to you need to send the shipment to make it, and then I mean he's basically used the 1,000 wood to kind of leapfrog his way up in his wood count as well, right?
That's true, yeah.
You could think of it as like a 2 shipment investment as well. So
yeah, plus 1,000. It's a 2 shipment investment plus 1,400 wood, 1,500 wood. You have to build a church as well. So 1.5k wood and 2 shipments. I think it'll be good. It's certainly going to be very strong against bow riders, though. As you say, they're not going to be quite as mobile.
Yeah. He's got a lot of. Where did he just put all his coin? He just sunk 1,000 coin into something. SoldieR did. SoldieR just used 1,000 coin on something.
Shipments.
Oh, Mamelukes probably.
Mamelukes. Oh.
It's gonna go Mameluke Bestiero.
Wow.
I can't believe it took me that long to think. What did he just send to spend 1,000 coin on?
Keep calm, send Mamelukes. I wore
that.
that shirt out actually to the club. It was.
Did anyone get the reference?
No one got the ref. Well, they may have done, but no one approached me about it. So
that's disappointing.
It is.
See, if Age of Empires 3 were a more popular game, I would love to wear a shirt like that and like have people like approach me and like understand, like get the reference and like think it was clever. Yeah. Like you could, if you had like something similar like for StarCraft or something like Keep Calm, Make Dark Templar or something like that. I think people would like enough people would get it that you would like get people who would like approach you and comment on it. But I don't think Age of Empires 3 is quite popular enough that people would get it. But it would be really funny. I would get it.
Age of Empires is popular enough, but for something different, like say it would have to be like Wallalalo, like that's the only action.
Yeah, maybe sure.
Yeah. I think I mentioned it before. You have a blue shirt that says "Keep Calm" and "Wallala," and then you turn it inside out, and then it's red, and it says the same thing. Yeah, so you walk into the toilet and turn it inside out, and you've just changed teams. But the game has resumed. He has unpaused it. Villager gonna go down. Not too good. 400 wood away, I believe, something like that. No, 4,000. So quite a lot of wood away from these best areas.
It's not quite 4,000, I don't think. But
no, 4,000 wood. Good lord. But Iroquois or Sioux, more to the point. Approaching. Oh goodness.
There he goes again. I'm not even sure what he's going to say. Sioux approaching. Maybe he was just going to say is like the army's approaching. There is the army here now starting to step forward for Sioux, and like this could be scary. Like if he sent Barbary Corsairs. What the?
Why is he sent?
Corsairs?
Hold on. They're really fast moving. All right. They're like giant anti-cavalry.
Yeah.
28 times 3 with like they're so fast and they got a 40% range resist. They're like really like super good Rodeleros. They're not too bad, but there's a lot of Wakina there. Yes, he didn't scout it, but you need more Barbary Cuirassier. Like Azam did try something like this, and he's just said they're too bad. They're no good. So going from what Ace said.
Here comes 1K coin as well. Maybe like with the 1K coin, he'll. Okay, well here come the Bestiarios are gonna come.
Bestiarios, 24 ranged attack. That's the same as a skirmish. It's more than a skirmisher. It's 4 more than the Wakina, and these have like significantly more hit points. These Bestiarios. The only thing they don't have is the range. But like here it goes. That's a big army though. Barbara Curra says you need to get involved. Come on, bring him back to the
chaps.
TC.
There they come.
Where are they? Oh, come on, Barbie.
Come on.
Barbie, go.
Get in the mix. There. Oh, 2 of them are going to aggro. There they come.
There they go. Oh, God, here we go. Okay, these things, they're just really weak against the Wakina, which have got, like, the ×2 damage multiplier. You can already see them getting picked off there. I think Mamelukes are, they certainly have more hit points.
Imagine if that was Mamelukes instead.
Yeah. I don't know. What was he thinking? I guess he was, I guess he just thought, like, my opponent's massing nothing but Bow Rider. Maybe he didn't realize there were Wakinas here, and he thought, well, they're still cavalry. They're not actually that good. Come to think of it, 22 crossbowmen for 2.4k wood is not actually that good. The upgrade in principle is good because you get a permanent guard crossbowman upgrade. But you think how many villager seconds 2,400 wood is?
Look at SoldieR's score. It's actually still so high.
Yeah, it's because of the upgrade, right?
Yeah, all the upgrades and stuff. He's not super dead just yet, though. I mean, no. He's still got 44 villagers. Here comes Mamelukes. Man, the Mamelukes like might be able to just win this game by themselves. Like I don't know.
They're up against 53 units of some of which are bow riders. But they are very strong, combined with some other, certainly he can make guard, or, he can make, crossbowmen from his barracks when he builds one.
Oh, the villager's getting caught out on the left a little bit.
Oh, no, doesn't want that. That's the only thing he has going for him, a villager lead right now.
Yeah.
It's tough, being forced to build mills as well, it's not pretty. Here come the Mamelukes, though. And an 8 Castador shipment pops out just in time. Going to be quite nice. Going to use the Castadors, of course, to focus down the bow riders here. Those are the things that are going to be threatening the cavalry. Once these axe riders go down, no doubt those Mamelukes will find their way out, probably to the bow riders. He wants to eliminate the things that are dealing the most damage to his Mams first, possibly. But then again, actually, the Wakinas have significantly less hit points, so those are the things that you want to be killing, and also those things are what Mamelukes are naturally good against. But actually, lots of reinforcements from Blue, including some dog soldiers, has sent that big button upgrade. Gonna force Red back, and it doesn't look too good for him now.
Yeah, he's starting. I mean, he's got a colonial militia pop here that he can do almost from this town center. Here it comes. There's going to be CM underneath this top town center here very soon.
CM going to get 800 resources worth of units. That's the regular Minutemen. That's the one that's costing 300 resources, but 400 food, 400 gold on. Does he have that? Did he have that?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He was able to pop it out, but I don't know that it's going to matter. Like, really? Is it? He's got 3 Mams alive.
He's got 3 Mams. He's got even villages. He's got. It's only half military pop. He does have both these mills down.
He's just bleeding so much here, though. He's not like gathering anything with his army.
Yeah. Barbary cuirassiers.
If only those had actually like been Mams and actually had done something. Could have maybe seen a different game.
I think like. That shipment needs to be rebalanced. Like, Barbary cuirassiers aren't bad. They're just not enough of them in the shipment.
But he's got a barracks up and he's making some besties here now again.
Besties. Oh, besties. How cute. Yeah, besties.
Maybe he's... I don't know, like...
This game is like, what?
It's like, what's going... Yeah, I don't know. He's like, If only he had one more hunt. He needs like one more hunt. If he had one more hunt and didn't have to make this transition to mills quite so early, maybe there was a chance. But I don't know. Sioux's just going to have so much map control moving forward here, and it's just going to be hard for him to ever get on the map.
Yeah, you're right. It's
ever again. 5 Dragoons.
He has sent economic mana, economedia mana, the one that decreases your gather rates in everything, but boosts your mill gather rate.
Oh, interesting. I hadn't even like considered that.
So these mills.
How much of a difference is that?
I think it's 20%. Let's go Google it. Advanced Church AOE 3.
Because I mean, if that's true, like maybe he can get out enough resources that he can stabilize. I mean, he does still have 3 town centers up. Can still create a lot of villagers.
It gives you plus 20% to the mill and minus 5% on everything else.
Okay, so I mean, it's something, I guess. It's not.
He sent mercantilism at 10-minute 50. Like, how did he squeeze that one in? Jeez.
That's when I said like, how did he just spend all that coin? Like, that's what he was sending, I bet.
Ah, I see.
And then he used that to like send more units or something. Strangely enough, I don't know.
Yeah, there is that. But aside from that, no market upgrades or any mill upgrades or anything at all.
He hasn't even built a market. He has built a market, I guess, but he hasn't gotten any upgrades from it.
What even is market? Yeah.
He has no market up. Like, he doesn't even have gang saw.
Yeah, but this is where the blue player comes in and cleans it up, right? I mean.
Yeah, sure.
Like, there aren't any Mamelukes left. Most of his military population for Red is actually just, well, some of it is just 1 HP Minutemen. There's a lot of blue units there. Wakina Riflemen, very strong indeed. Bow Riders have a lot of HP. And, of course, the Elite Rifle Riders mixed in there as well. I'm not even sure what they... Like, what even do they do? They're, like, good against cavalry. They're good against infantry. Combo buster.
They're against everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, he's just backpedaling here now, reeling. I mean, he's ahead in score, but it's still just from all those upgrades that he sent, right? The Mechanism, the Bestieros, all the mercenary stuff. Like, it's just overinflating his score. Realistically, his score is
Yeah.
Probably fairly in the gutter.
Oh,
I don't even know. I don't
the
even know
Minutemen
why.
have arrived though, but yeah, they're just gonna like, Blue's just gonna get back and let them decay.
He could honestly even just fight it, because I mean, if he just fights it and keeps the villagers built up in the town center, like, that's just as good as anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's, you know, maybe not the most efficient, it doesn't really matter. And like, look at how much stuff is moving across the map too. He's just got so many units coming in. It's not gonna really matter.
Oh, Portuguese. I think Portuguese okay in this matchup, as we were saying, but some funky stuff coming out of SoldieR there. Barbary cuirassiers. His YOLO swag. Oh.
It was a bold move.
It was
To say
certainly
the least.
not quite as bold as Mameluke's though.
No. Yeah, I mean, this game's pretty over, right? Like,
Yeah, it's like, what do you do now? Like, even if you have villages, like, they can't gather. Though, you know, he's got colonial militia, right? I mean, they're pumping out the siege damage, these town centers.
Yeah, but I mean, at what cost? At the cost of having every single
what
one of your
cost?
at the cost of having all of your villagers standing in your town center, basically, is the cost that specifically it is.
Yeah, that is, thanks for that.
Still no gang saw, which kind of bothers me.
Gangster, of all things, that
all-
bothers you.
Well, it costs 100 resources, and he's gathered so much wood this game.
Yeah.
Like, think of how much wood he chopped to get the best hero upgrade without gang saw.
And these mills, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
true.
so much wood he's got, and look how many villagers he's got on wood right now, just in general, without gang saw.
Very sad. Oh. Like, what do you even say at this point?
And with the game's over. The only reason why the game like doesn't just like straight up end is because he's annoyingly got all of these town centers that do so much damage, and Sioux doesn't really have that great of a way to siege it. Like, he should just siege dance and go circle siege the TCs, honestly.
Yeah. Yep. Or, you know, keep the contain up. But then...
I mean, the contain is up, right? He's got like a
Yeah.
couple of fighters running around back here, like just being annoying, playing defense. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, what? There's literally like 50 villagers in these two town centers.
Dude, he's getting the great coats upgrade. You know, he's just finished researching just now. 75% villager no, 35% village HP. You know, that's what he's playing for. You know, villager HP. This is where the villagers, they take back their town single-handedly. They just needed some great coats to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Here comes one match of Minutemen more.
Minutemen, come on,
The
and the
heroes.
villagers, they got to get out and fight too.
No, they're not. No bravery. They're just gonna wave their white flags and resign.
Well, the Portuguese flag is white
That's just true.
in this game, at least.
SoldieR taunting his brother.
You know you've got siege dance. That's.
He's in age 3. Does he not realize he's in age 3?
Can your soldiers reply? 3, 2, 1.
Haha, NM, right.
Duh.
So funny.
There it is. 2 points to anxiety. SoldieR now. Going up for our next game. Very fun. I'm glad we saw that. That was
The brother, the brotherly love.
What the hell was he even doing? Like, Barbary cuirassiers. Like, in the tournament, I'm pretty sure SoldieR won't be doing stuff like this. He'll probably...
Well, right. I mean, he played the first game probably as serious as he could, and then made sure he like won the game that mattered. And now in the remainder of this best of 7, like
Yeah,
just
he got
doing
himself
goofy
up
stuff.
to 3 wins, which is 1 win away from winning the entire series, and then played 2 really, perhaps not as competitive games as he had, in the sense that he's picking perhaps the weaker civs.
And not only is he playing weak civs, he's playing weak builds with weak civs, and still actually like almost being okay, like
Yeah.
scarily enough. So
But, yeah, I'm going to head on out of this one. Let's stop the recording. See you in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Saturday Smackdown. This is game number 6 in the best of 7 series between GiveUAnxiety and I Am SoldieR. Here we have SoldieR playing as the British. No more messing around by the looks of it, though. Having said that, British versus India, I think is a pretty tough one, right?
I think it's actually okay.
No, I was just thinking like, oh god, you know.
On this map, anything is tough against India just because of the yak potential and the low hunts. I mean, certainly on this map, this is not that good of a map for Brits, but I think in a more generalized sense, this matchup's not too bad. It's just it's a hard map for Brit to play on, and a really good map for India to play on. So.
Yeah, that is true. My initial thoughts were, oh god, you've got the Gurkha and you've got your Zambarak, you've got that Fortress Age unit composition in the Colonial versus whatever British does. But actually thinking back to it, I remember Harcher playing and a few other games with British and India actually, and not going to... I think actually, I was thinking back to it, Bonang and Azemk on Painted Desert of all things. So that map is better for...
You can just go like Musk Longbow, which is really, really strong against India as a composition.
Yeah.
And not all civs have really good musket units and really good like bow type units.
That's
and like Japan is one civ that does, Brits naturally does. Obviously civs that can have skirmishers and muskets like with upgrades like French or something like that at some point does, but not a lot of civs in Age 2 have both of those units, and Brits are one of those civs, so...
Yep. But here we do have British in the east of the map in the colour red, playing as I Am SoldieR. That didn't come out quite the way I intended, but all the information is there. Nonetheless, every one of those villagers on food, leaving his coin on the floor, doesn't need that. Where's his explorer? Looking around for cows, I should hope, finding a few. And has he picked up any treasures? Nope, just the native scout that you want to start the game with. But India currently picking himself up a nice big beefy wood treasure. 85 wood, really nice for India. Villagers, of course, costing wood. That means gonna have to collect 85 less wood and then just collect more food. Or perhaps, that might influence his decision to build some sort of trading post or something indeed that costs wood. Those 2 cows on the floor in his base, he could go eat them, though there's not very much food left in them, so perhaps...
Well, actually he can't. He's India, right?
Oh, this is true, actually.
That would be a sacred sin.
That would be very bad,
Not allowed.
Very sad. Can't even generate XP with those. I just saw dead cows and thought, oh, if I go get them. No, it doesn't work like that.
Rest in pieces.
Rip. Alright, but here we have India in the west of the map, in the colour blue. GiveUAnxiety, his brother. Yep.
Brotherly cry. Yeah, we should probably mention that again for people who weren't here at the beginning of the stream. GiveUAnxiety and SoldieR are brothers, hailing from the United States of America, and they've both been historically really good at Age games and like have played a lot of different Age games.
Oh, he's going in for the 90 wood treasure. Which one's gonna get it? The red player is taking the damage from the explorer, Mr. Seaman indeed. But we do have Kansadasa and Swami. Oh my goodness, who went in? I don't even know. Red grabs it again.
Yeah, Red got it.
He did. And not going to take out the Explorer. It is fairly decent hit points, and one of those elephants is quite low. Actually going to pursue the elephant, snaring it with, of course, the Mongol scout. Though Blue, is he going to use his scout to snare the Explorer so that he can escape?
I think he should be out. Should be fine.
Yeah. There it is. But a little bit of Discovery Age conflict. Oh, but here, actually...
You see this, too?
32, 27... Oh, I don't know. You don't want to lose your Explorer. It's not good.
But even just getting some of that HP off makes it so much better. Because, like, if you think about the frustrating thing about playing against those scouts in Age 2, is just, like, them running at you at full HP, right? So even the fact that it doesn't have to be dead. Like, the fact that it's, even at 20 HP is going to make it so much softer for when, you have to defend against it when it's going to be pushing on your base, so...
Yeah, that's true. I always consider that first push. Does get the elephant kill, though. SoldieR popping down the Cowhacks reference. Cowhacks, even the old player, right? He's quite a veteran, knows about Cowhacks now. Zuta, what are you doing? You got to catch up with the times. Things are moving forward.
I'm still unaware of it, apparently.
Zuta doesn't really get it. He's just like, it's like a thing that Azemk says, not really sure what it means.
But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not understanding. I mean, at the end of the day, I only like play this game once a week, and it's like for these 3 hours that I cast. So it doesn't hurt my feelings if I don't understand every reference made in the community anymore. It used to be like that would bother me, and I'd like have to know. It's like whatever.
I don't know. You've been around it long enough to know what it means. It's just, oh wow, this base is looking pretty nice for the British player.
Yeah, I do like this layout as well. He's identified that the Agra Fort is to the south side of his base, and reactively putting up like this very nice wall, consisting of these manor houses, the market, the outposts, the barracks, all just kind of forming this natural barrier here between his berries, this hunt he's got, and his coin mine here to the north of the map as well. So that's definitely going to help him out when the pressure does ramp up. And it looks like we are going to see, in fact, some actual real live pressure here from the Indian player.
There it is. There is a villager on the front there. It looks like it's going to go down. Pretty sad about that. And the Explorer is going to go down 45 XP for the blue player as well. And that is 500 units of HP that you could have mixed into your musketeers that actually might get strayly shot at by, of course, blue. Gonna take out the mana, perhaps? They are worth 54 XP, so you are kind of incentivized. Those manas are actually quite nicely placed. You get to see every unit, whatever he's making, you know, which ones to train. Gonna do that. But I think British is okay, maybe. You know, he's got 5 musketeers on the board, and his hunts are pretty nice in his base.
Yeah, his hunts are good. He's done a good job herding once again. Good positioning with his muskets, and now getting up the second barracks. Bought himself enough time that I don't think he really has to worry too much. Although, that being said, the
stray musketeer looks like he's going to get shot at. No, he's going to get back. Sorry, go ahead.
I think once he gets the second racks up, and if he can get out a couple longbowmen to help deal with this, he'll be in a really good spot.
Yeah, but there are like, what, 7 Sepoy there taken out, you know, just getting gang piled there. In come the Sours. Gonna slow them down, forcing a villager into the TC. From with the whatever it is, the elephants.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pressure in his base now.
There's a lot of stuff in his base. They'd call Minutemen, but you know the damage from the TC and the outpost. This isn't necessarily like free for India, right? Like it's not like India's not investing a lot into this. He's had to ship 5 Sepoy. He's had to ship 4 Sour. His eco's not super great. And at some point, I mean, we do have to consider the fact that there are, you know, a decent number of yaks here, so Brits aren't completely dead. Their infrastructure hasn't really been harmed that much. And once the longbow count starts to get a little bit higher, I think Soldier's going to be just fine, honestly.
Yeah, losing another villager, though, in the north there, and there is one over here going to go down. Lots of villagers just being picked up for free. It's not too good. I am Soldier currently at this point on a 60 houses, though he does have 3 more going down. So he should have 6 extra villagers over his opponent, though that's not true because, of course, India does get 3 of those villagers from his shipments. But should have more villagers at this point and doesn't. It's pretty tough, but as you say, more longbowmen coming out. Longbowmen, pretty good.
Yeah, although he does have, like, there are these Sours here as well.
Yep, move the cows. He needs a natural barrier. Use the cows / cow hacks. You can block the cavalry incoming.
Yeah. Lots of longbowmen back here. Like this, anxiety's overstaying is welcome here if he tries to stay too long. Like look at the longbow damage from way in the back there. Just giving him so much DPS and really doing a good job of holding here at this point.
Yeah, that was good. How many does he have right now? That is 14 longbowmen. Must be like 2 batches plus the 6 or 6 and just the rest were trained. Clearly, that's what it was. Yep. But got his 700 and 600 wood out. Gonna have plenty of population. Though he has lost a few units. Can use some of that wood to perhaps make longbowmen. 5 Sepoy gonna go down or being forced to get it. Wow, that is so long range.
So much damage. And another thing I want to point out here is that India is follow-up to this. You know, he's played very aggressively with the 5 Sepoy, the 4 Sour, but now his compositionally speaking, he's really going to start to suffer moving forwards here. The Brit player knows that, there's only going to be the Agra Fort. There is no stable starting up just yet. I mean, in fact, a consulate being added into the mix before the stable. So, I mean, there's really not going to be that many that many like different units coming forward. I guess it's going to be, you know, some Gurkha maybe, but aside from that, it's going to be fairly predictable from India's standpoint. And Brit moving forward here still has a lot of cows, a decent number of villagers. He's up to 32 vills. Still has a 4 villager shipment that he can send. And you know, in the next 2 or 3 minutes, he's going to hit a pretty big power spike. He's going to get out a lot of longbows, a lot of pikes. And at that point, India really has to be able to have ramped up. And I don't know if that's going to be enough time for India to ramp up with, you know, the current state that he's sitting in.
Yep, needs to cast Wild Growth, ramp up. Pretty difficult right now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. It's just, like, it's a power spike. You've got the yaks he's eating now. Of course, he's sort of doing that because he has ran out of hunt. Obviously, once he has eaten them up and all the food's gone, he's only got the berries left, and you sort of need to push out anyway because you want to secure some hunts. But here, I guess you've been booming. I think, actually, GiveUAnxiety's done a really quite exceptional job of killing villagers because, you know, British has trained a lot of manners, but the villager count is actually in favour of by 4 even, for GiveUAnxiety. So,
Yeah,
yes,
look at
there's
the
a lot of
military
units.
count.
Yes, it's going to be a nice push, but I don't think it's as bad for him. I think, like, it should be, like, you know, the stable now coming down.
Just look at the military count and composition, though. Like, there's, I don't know, there's just so many longbows, and longbows are so good when they're allowed to just stand there and not have to worry about cav, you know, like flanking them.
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, the stable has only just gone up. It's not even like blue has a lot of cav. That Agrafort is toast, right? Though 3 Gardner Hussars have come out, though it's not really going to be enough. He's going to need to mix that in with the first batch of 5, whatever it is.
Yeah, first batch of sours,
That's
yeah.
the one, sours.
And maybe he can get us around here. A couple more Gurkhas popping out.
Yeah.
But I think SoldieR, like, well, I don't know. That is an okay army there that give you anxiety. It's going to come down to unit
like
position.
he's going to come in. We see the pikemen going to try and get in combat with those Gardner Hussars, going to take them out. I think maybe this was a little bit premature. Perhaps you wait for the sours and then go in at once, because then, you know, you've got so many more cavalry surrounding the longbowmen. But actually, having said that, all the pikemen are now down, and there aren't any defense against this. It's just going to be
so much indecision.
What the? Yeah.
He got caught in so much indecision trying to kill the Agra.
Yeah, he wanted to bring that down. He's overcommitted to it, I guess. Though we do now see 10 more pikemen kind of come out, going to be able to protect those longbowmen there. Not really many cavalry left, but actually blue has a lot of units. That Agrafort, very low HP, but it is very fixable. You just press the repair button, and it can be fixed. Sieging it down, and
what a throw!
You think he wanted to focus down the Agrafort, but
yeah, well, he had like 15 longbowmen like still shooting, and the Agras trying to kill it, and he just took so much damage. Yeah. And now his villagers are so spread out; it's going to be really, really hard for him to gather resources to remass.
That's true. Look at that, like.
Look at the score difference, like all of a sudden.
That's not too good. GiveUAnxiety. Wow. Well, actually, it's SoldieR. He's and his fortress sieging. Yeah, when you're attacking a building and you're taking damage and your units aren't shooting back, it's there was a video on my channel explaining that, and you just lose. Yep, most important thing in a fight is to make sure your units are actually fighting, not standing around, not doing damage to buildings. I guess though here he did want to get rid of the Agrafort, and that's a valid thing, but yeah, still applies.
Yeah. He wasted a lot of time before the fight as well, just like kind of pedaling back and forth, not really shooting.
Yeah. That's pretty ugly.
Yeah, he's got a couple pike running up there, but I don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference. The army for India is so big now.
Wait, with the cav, do you just kill the 4 pikes anyway? Like...
Yeah, I think you should, probably. Yeah. And just continue chasing. Well, maybe if he gets a big catch here.
Oh, sandwich! Oh. What a dupe!
It was so close. That was his way back into the game.
Bye-bye.
There goes the interjection again. If he would have gotten a catch there, that would have been maybe his way back into the game. Certainly would have, evened out the composition a little bit more in his favor once again. But looks like here we come, another fight coming in.
We have another fight here. That is true. I think it's in favor of red. He's got more. No, well, here come the Sours coming back there. He just needs to get rid of those pikemen, then those cavalry can get some damage in. Though he does have 4 cavalry on the side there with that 1.5 times damage multiplier versus the longbowman. But I am SoldieR giving up right there.
Well,
he knows he can't do it.
Look at the
Yeah,
like that's not even half his army.
Yes, you can see by the just this fight is kind of tough, right? And you then go, by my wall and some houses there is, yeah, Agrafort can't die. No, that's true.
This is a 3-game apiece series, and like GiveUAnxiety legitimately won this game. Like SoldieR screwed around for a couple games, and now
oh dear. He was like, "Yep, I'm a 3-win. I don't want to embarrass you, brother. I'm not gonna give you my 4-0. Let's play some Spain for fun. Let's play some Portuguese YOLO swag, whatever it is Barbary Cura says." And now it's 3-3.
Yeah. And,
what if Anxiety it takes the next one? That would be pretty funny.
That will be a comeback, an epic comeback.
I because then Anxiety will just be like, I don't know, dude. The last time we played, I beat you in a best of 7. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna head on out of this one. Let's get into game number 7. You don't often see them going on that long. Though, perhaps it shouldn't have gone on this long. I'm now going to end the recording. See you in a sec. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, going into our final game for this series, the 7th one, the decider. It is 3-3. Perhaps it didn't need to get this far, but GiveUAnxiety has its chance here to beat his brother, who is, I think, objectively perhaps a better player. Certainly was back in the day. But, if he takes this game, he says to him, I don't know, dude. The last time we played, I beat you in a best of 7. This is all things on the line. Both players going to be playing seriously here. And this is our favorite map. Me and Zuta absolutely love Siberia. It's great. The Hunt's distribution is pretty nice. You start with the tower. Always makes it a nice game. And it's Siberia, so there is certainly that. But in the south of the map, in the color blue, we have GiveUAnxiety playing as the French, almost collecting up his coin crate, but decided, actually, I don't want to do that. Perhaps he already has his 45 coin, actually, that he's just picked up from that treasure. Certainly going to be quite useful for hunting dogs or something like that. Though, having said that, I think he's still going to need that coin if he wants to buy 100 wood. Anyway, we'll see what he does. It's always to do with that market. Yeah, well, it may be like, I'm sure he'll think about it. Oh, but he does find 90 wood straight off the bat. GiveUAnxiety. This is pretty good. He's going to like that. 90 wood, really nice. Doesn't even have to collect the coin up now. That's what he's doing. He's found the treasure. Alright, and that native scout looking around the map. Going to be finding all the nice big treasures as well. We do, though, have, in the north of the map, in the color red, I am SoldieR. Has been on 3 wins now for 3 games running. Or this is the 4th game in a row that he has been on 3 wins. He could have ended this several times, I think, but chose to drag it out. Perhaps maybe he was just going for a the trolling pride thing. I'm gonna beat you with the Spanish against the Iroquois. Do you remember that time I beat you with Spanish and you were playing Iroquois? Didn't actually happen though. Here it is though. What do you think of this matchup, Zuta?
So this one's this isn't too bad. I mean, in general, I think French has always been considered a fairly mid-tier-ish civ. India, a higher tier civ on some maps, on this map in particular, where it's a fairly long rush distance. There's not anything super special about it that really is good for them. I guess the best thing for them on this map is the wood treasures, but it's not like there's a choke point that you can abuse with the Agrafort. It's not like your opponent lacks hunt like on some maps. So I think all things considered, a fairly even matchup. Maybe slightly in favor of India, but let's be honest, I think French is pretty good on this map as well. So I think the matchup-wise, we don't really have anything too concerning to worry about, and it's going to come down to the players and how they end up playing this out to win.
That's true. I'm SoldieR, picking a pretty good civ now. He isn't messing around with Portuguese and Spanish anymore. That's for true. But picking himself up some pretty nice wood treasures there. He's picked up a 40 wood treasure there, and another 50 wood treasure. That's pretty good. for him. Really nice for India, actually. And now I'm going to pick up a pirate map that shows the... We need to learn the what are the names? A pirate map showing the location of all treasures.
Yeah.
We still need to learn the names of all the treasures.
Pungent ground jasmine leaves with 45 coins.
All you need to say is, oh, he's going for the pungent ground jasmine leaves, and then everyone, then you and I would both know that meant 45 coin, and we wouldn't need to express that. When we get to that level of Age of Empires 3 knowledge, it's...
You would think after 10 years we'd be close, but I swear every single time I watch this game or play this game, I like something like new. Like,
yeah.
If you would have asked me like 30 seconds ago, what's the name of the 45 coin treasure,
you wouldn't have known. No.
I would have been like, I don't know, like it's always just been and you see that treasure and you know that it's 45 coin after you've played on it enough.
True. You look at a treasure and visually you know what it is just by how many guardians it has sometimes.
I'm looking at these two tigers gathering around this coin and I'm trying to
Quicksilver.
Yeah. Okay, it's a pool. It is a pool of Quicksilver. I was trying to think of it. I didn't know.
Yeah, but looks like that's what he's gonna go for. There, he's gonna pick that one up. But both players now aging, going up with the Wonder with the Agra 4 as always, playing a defensive one in the back there. Got some nice hunts, and this is pretty close to a coin mine, not that far away. Putting down a market as well. Blue on his way up.
Yeah, Blue's also swimming with resources behind his base. He's got 2 really good coin mines here in the backside of his base. 2 really good hunts as well in the backside of his base. So it certainly has a lot of resources. Doesn't have to worry about the early pressure. Plus he's French, so I think he's going to be quite pleased with his map layout early in the game so far. And but at the same time, India, it's not like his map is bad either. Got lots of hunts, decent coin mines behind his base as well. So everything looking fairly even actually map balance wise.
What do you do as France here? Play some standard, drop down a stable, drop down a barracks, send four what was it as your first shipment?
4 CVB.
Yeah.
On this map,
no, 7 wood, sorry.
Yeah. On this map, I would just 5 cav semi-FF.
Yeah.
Especially when you know that India is not playing aggressive. I mean, look, it's 5 minutes and 15 seconds. He just aged out. He's obviously not going to be playing very aggressive. Yeah. You can just make 5 cav, do some raiding. Get an age up in, and then try and time and push with, cuirassiers and skirmishers.
And I think that is exactly what we're going to see, as you pointed
very
out.
Likely.
Yeah.
Very
4
likely.
villages has just arrived. 4 gives you anxiety, which is sort of typical of your semi-FF, and he's obviously got the stable and the 2 houses there. It's absolutely hasn't gone, interestingly, for a trading post though, so perhaps he's going to find it difficult to fit in a 700 wood shipment, if indeed he does want one.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of like the trade-off that sometimes you'll see like players send 700 wood early and just actually build a couple trading posts. And maybe that will be something he'll do, like 700 coins. I mean, it should be his next card, but then maybe he'll do 700 wood or something like that. It's hard to know. There's lots of different options. French isn't one of those civs that there's a clear-cut best way to play it.
Holy balls, where did GiveUAnxiety get all these monkeys from? Good lord, there's a lot of monkeys right there.
He must have gotten the treasure.
There's a treasure that gives you... You don't need this many dubas. Good lord, that's...
GiveUAnxiety has rescued a family of monkeys who will join the cause.
Oh, I should know that, right? I know all the treasure names, everyone.
Who will join the cause. Remember, there's the villager who may join the cause.
Yep.
Right? Like the villager that's guarded by 5 coyotes on AS New Great Plains or on Great Plains may join the cause.
Yeah.
There's that chance that
they may. You never know. There might be a 99.999% that they do, and that very off chance they don't. But this one, it says they will join the cause.
They will join the cause.
Yeah,
so
very
if you do
different.
rescue those monkeys, they will join the cause.
Very different modal verb being used there. One which expresses a degree of possibility. The other will is quite clearly stating that they will.
I like the Zambrax here.
Yeah. Those cavalry certainly not going to do too much. And the monkeys though, they have engaged. What? Poor monkeys.
Yeah.
Wow, all of his cav have gone. Just 2 left, and there's that one stray one, which I'm pretty sure he's going to get wrecked.
That was really good by SoldieR. I didn't even see him build the stable, and I mean that is going to slow him down slightly.
Yeah.
But it does clear up the threat from any raiding pressure. I'm curious to see what we're going to see SoldieR do as a follow up to this. We can see he's played very
takes
very
out the other hussars as well.
Yeah, he's been playing really economically so far, with 600 wood, and now the second wood trickle coming as well. I'm curious as to whether or not this is just going to be like a timing push, and just going to like make Zams and Sepoys and Gurkhas and just try and kill his opponent before even worrying about aging up, or if he's going to try and age himself. Like GiveUAnxiety is soon going to be aged. And I'm just curious as to what SoldieR's game plan is. If he's going to age himself, or if he's just going to continue to play in the second age. And it looks like for the time being, he's just going to be content in the second age.
I think you're right. He doesn't have really any resources that would sort of point out that he wants to age. I mean, and look, he's just managed to take out all of those cavalry. Those are units that he's now not going to have. I mean, like, France don't really want the cavalry once they're up to fortress. They're not hugely useful, but they're still like units that you have. Doesn't have them anymore, meaning that Red's sort of colonial pressure, which is, he's got 2 wood trickles behind this. 600 coin has just arrived. Now going to start powering out some units with that coin, no doubt. He could really make this quite difficult for GiveUAnxiety, who has only just spent essentially 2,200 resources on not making military units.
What? GiveUAnxiety's like got this very strange mindset that like he has to send 1,000 wood, or like he's got to like drop another TC as soon as he gets to the third age.
Yeah, which is not a good idea right here. You're like that 1,000 wood is not military, and that's kind of what you want right now.
Imagine if he had 8 skirms like right now.
8 skirms would be so good. I mean, like they're good against both units the red player is making.
Yeah, but SoldieR, whoa, no.
Whoa. Whoa. Those villagers are gathering, though. That ought to be pointed out. But 1,000 wood, he has forced it back. He can make a trading post. Well, he could make a trading post. I was actually going to say a town center. See what he does with that.
We're like right over there.
Yeah.
He needs to secure that hunt either way. So I guess a town center does kind of accomplish that. But at the same time, he could have just sent 8 skirms and had a little bit more foresight to herd that hunt, and then you wouldn't have to worry about defending it with a town center. But
yeah, maybe he thinks actually this 1,000 wood is going to be for whoa, did he delete a house by mistake? Yeah, perhaps it wasn't. Anyway, it probably wasn't. I think like he didn't send a 700 wood. He wasn't able to fit that in. Maybe he thinks to himself, I need the wood. I need to get the houses up. I still need a barracks. I'm going to build a barracks out of this 1,000 wood. No, okay, I'm wrong. He just actually really wanted a town center.
I mean, we've seen him do that with a lot of different civs and a lot of different.
We have
in a lot of different situations, and I don't think it's necessarily that good.
It's not necessarily terrible. It's certainly different. I mean, like getting units out was like traditionally the strength of the semi-FF, right? Like you've got a really strong economy because you sent 3 and 4 villagers. Perhaps you have a stronger economy because you did some raiding as well with the 4 cavalry or 5 cavalry, what it is you managed to train, and then you use that to train like the tech advantage units, which are really quite strong. But
look at the army discrepancy here. Just like the strength of the armies, like this is absolutely brutal. I mean, there's some skirms out here now, but
yeah, it's like. Doesn't matter really though. Like there's enough Zambraks to clear that up, right? It's like the Spain thing we were saying the other day, where Spain don't have any ranged infantry shipments, and you get up to fortress, and just like if you can't mass up enough skirmishes, you just like putting them into hand combat as well. Putting the dragoons into hand combat, the Zambraks gonna knock them over.
I mean, he's gonna get up a town center, but like, okay, like who cares, right? Like that town center's not doing anything. That town center's not gonna train villagers. Hell, he's not even gonna really probably be able to get like a set of Minutemen or anything out of there. It's going to give his villagers another place to hide, but those villagers aren't gathering resources, and yep, he knows it.
Yeah, takes the win. GiveUAnxiety. He has resigned. SoldieR takes the win, 4-3, and I think rightfully that was his win. But GiveUAnxiety, he certainly had his chance to defeat his brother there, his older brother, who is perhaps better than him. And that would have been genuinely quite hilarious if he had won this, especially since SoldieR has been messing around for the past couple of games, let's be honest. But I did really enjoy that series. Some nice brotherly love.
It's fun to watch.
How long has this stream been? I think this has been one of the longer ones.
3 minutes and 3 hours and 37 minutes.
I was going to say, that was a long 3 minutes.
Yeah, that was a very long.
I've been streaming. I streamed Hearthstone for 7.5 hours earlier, and what have I just done? Another 4-hour stream essentially with you here, almost.
Yes, you must be exhausted.
Though Hearthstone is a game I can play for a long period of time. But the point is, I've been streaming for a long time. That was a really great series. I really quite enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching Saturday Smackdown, everybody. Do remember to put a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed it. Do follow this stream if you haven't done so already. We do this every single week, 9 p.m. GMT. That is 1 p.m. PST if you live in the US. Don't really have any time zones for the Asia area, but I'm sure you can work it out from the two that we have given you there. I'm now going to end my recording.